Stefan.
is my government name.
Is my government name.
Your social security, your social security name,
Yeah,
your alias, your everything.
my preferred name is Star Blazer.
Lame.
He's like,
Rainbow,
who?
Rainbow Star Blazer.
Okay,
It's
better.
like Star Blazer, man. Come on.
All right, welcome to episode 34 of SuperHouse Podcast. I'm Andrew coming in from Los Angeles. Stefan, go ahead.
Oh yeah, this is Stephen from Denver, Colorado.
All right, today we have our senior Godzilla correspondent by the name of Jonathan Portman here. Say hi, Jonathan.
Hello, everyone.
Thanks for coming on, man. We have a mutual friend, Mark, and
Indeed, we do.
he said that you were basically a Godzilla expert. Is that correct?
I am a huge fan of Godzilla. I am not sure that could call myself a full-fledged expert, but I'm very enthusiastic about it. So, yeah.
All right, that's interesting because that's like not like your normal fandom. I feel like
Yeah.
maybe you've met a lot more than I have, but I don't know too many people where Godzilla's like their main thing.
Hmm.
Well, it's something that's very niche. I feel like you're either really into it or you're just kind of casual.
Mhm.
There's no like real in between. Yeah, it's okay. I watch a few here and there. Um,
Right,
you're the internet or you're not. You know.
right, and like just how this get started? What was your
Well,
when did you first fall in love or whatever?
my earliest memories, probably when I was around 4 years old, 4 or 5 years old. My uncle was huge into this stuff. He used to watch them all on TV when he was a kid back in the 60s and the 50s. And, when I was of age to start watching, start remembering things and start having thought, he introduced me to this movie called Destroy All Monsters.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like the battle royale of monster movies. You've got all of the Godzilla kaiju, most of the Godzilla kaiju up to that point in a big movie, just to it's kind of celebrate um, the genre, and that really got me hooked. Like seeing a bunch of these monsters, running around and wrestling each other and on sets, these huge sets, and to me, it was it was the main thing. I was super into it, and that's where I really got hooked at a very young age. And I have to thank my uncle for that because he really went head in on it, and he used to get me the VHSs, for Christmas for my birthdays, and we used to watch them together, and he would kind of fill me in on knowledge if I didn't know and all this stuff. So that's really where it all started.
Are you into any other like Japanese stuff or basically just Godzilla?
A friend of mine, actually, I don't know if you know Josh Caldera, who's one of Mark's friends. He actually got me into anime, but this was like in the last couple of years or so.
Right.
But it was just about kaiju, tokusatsu. I was into Power Rangers when I was a kid. I'm still into Power Rangers and into the Sentai. But
Mm.
that's all mostly the same kind of thing. Tokusatsu, live action special effects.
Right. And I mean, this is kind of jumping around, but like, what do you think is what's the best Godzilla movie, man? Like, let's just throw it out there.
Ooh, that's a tough one. See, because if you count the two American films, you got 31 movies now, and it's. I would say in terms of my favorite overall movie, I think Mothra versus Godzilla, otherwise known as Godzilla versus the Thing in the U.S. title, um,
Okay.
is a very complete Godzilla movie. It's one of my favorites. I always go. It's a go-to whenever I'm in the mood, to watch a film late at night or fall asleep to it or just watch it in general. That's the one I will probably go to.
And what would you say that like there is that most Americans don't really understand about Godzilla? Is there anything that you think is there's a cultural disconnect and only like
Well,
people super into it like you know about it over here?
I think a lot of Godzilla fans would agree that um, the understanding of Godzilla and where it comes from and how personal it is in terms of the Japanese and the way they handle it um, is that Godzilla is like he's indestructible, and I feel like kids can identify with that, and especially kids who get bullied when they're in school and whatnot can really identify with something like that. Um, you know, the thing about those films is people kind of look at them as B movies. They're just kind of
Right.
schlocky and campy and all that. But if you look into the real history of it and why they made those films the way they did, and in terms of the budgets that they had to make these films, um, there's a lot more to it than just the B movie. There's a lot of detail attention given to the miniatures in terms of how they're built and the staging on stage and how they get everything choreographed at the same time to get a shot off. You have these guys performing in these 200-pound suits, with 90-degree heat. They're slaving themselves out there to make these movies for children, to make them entertaining for the masses. I think, you know, people just kind of look down on them for that reason, as like the guys in the suits running around in the special effects being outdated from like the 50s and the 60s. But I think there's more heart in those films in the way they produced and the way they made them, and that's what makes it special. That people I think outside of the realm would kind of look at them differently than fans who live and breathe this stuff, who know the history behind it, and um, watch everything that comes out.
Right. Like up until film school for me, I only thought of it as like it's Japanese people just love monsters.
Mhm.
That's the only way I thought about it. But
Yeah,
then, in some film class or another, they mentioned that like, this film, the first one was came out not too long after the atom bomb, and if you think about this like city destroying power that is unstoppable, like
yeah,
that the atom bomb, and also like he's radioactive, right? So like that was in
yes,
their that's in their collective unconscious, and or conscious, I guess, very conscious of it. So when I heard that, it kind of brought it to a whole other level, like this even though it is a guy in a suit and it's a monster, there's something kind of important, like culturally important about it.
of course, definitely. The when Godzilla was created, a lot of the um, backstory behind the atomic bomb being used on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that still hit hard with the Japanese, even to this day. But especially back then, around 1954, it was about 10 years or so removed, 9 years removed. And they needed a way to kind of vet out their fears and their frustrations. And just not long before the movie was produced, they had the um, atomic hydrogen bomb tests in the South Pacific, and had gotten too close to a Japanese fishing vessel that they were supposed to be out of the blast radius, and they ended up getting in the blast radius, and they had nuclear fallout on them, and they came back into Tokyo Bay, and they had all this haul of catch of fish with them, and this created a whole like uh, nationwide scare, because in infuriation by the Japanese were infuriated because of the carelessness that had gone on with not just testing these atomic weapons, but also doing it so close and not knowing the limitations of it. And it was one of those things that could never really escape the Japanese, the fear of nuclear weapons, and that was the way they were able to vet it out in the feature
Right,
film that they made in Godzilla. It was kind of an inspiration of the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
right.
That was their inspiration, and then going over to Tokyo Bay, producer Tomiyuki Tanaka's like coming back from Japan. He's like, oh, wouldn't that be? He visions this creature coming out of the ocean, and that's where really the inspiration for it came, and that's why Godzilla has this cultural. Um, uh, there's this huge cultural sense behind him, because he is a product of our fear of nuclear power, and he's
And
indestructible.
right. And is
Other
that the same
facets to it.
for like all the other kaiju as well? Like they're all kind of copying that same pattern, or does like Mothra or somebody else have like stem from some other kind of fear or some other kind of cultural thing?
I think that once they started Godzilla and once they saw how big it was, um, they started to get into the realm of doing these films pure entertainment, and they saw this opportunity to not, I wouldn't say cash in, because they really felt strongly about making these movies, but it had turned into their genre.
Yeah,
They
right.
had created like a subgenre of film with the kaiju, the tokusatsu era, and Mothra, is just Mothra was a byproduct of that continuation. Let's make a film that's entertaining. Let's gear it towards different audiences.
Right. That I mean, that's just so interesting. And I've heard that the name, I've studied Japanese for like 12 years now or something like that. I heard that
Nice.
Gojira is a combination of Gorira and Kujira, which is gorilla and whale. Is
Yep.
that
Oh,
Yep.
correct?
whoa.
Yep, that's correct. That is
How does
correct.
that happen?
Uh, Honestly, I'm not really sure. I think uh, that term just kind of, I wouldn't say it sounded cool to them. I honestly am not. I don't know how that mixture came together. Um, but that's what they went with, and then that was translated into Godzilla over here.
Is that just because nobody could pronounce Gojira?
I think that's it. There was no Japanese to English translation to, what are you gonna call it? Like you can't. What are you gonna call it? A gorilla whale? You know.
Right, right, right,
I had to
right,
think
right.
of something that sounded cooler. Sounded, God, God fearing this massive creature that seems indestructible, and Godzilla. Maybe Zilla on the end of it. That was their catch. And yeah, I really gave it credit to whichever American producer came up with that name for the American translation, because otherwise it would have been like gorilla whale saurus or something
Right,
like
right,
that.
right.
You know what I mean? They wouldn't have the same like grab as a name.
Th My first Godzilla movie was that Matthew Broderick one,
Oh
and
yes, yes,
that
yes.
one really
Infamous.
just wasn't that good. But
No.
that one, like 2 years ago, I thought was decent. I like the end scene the most when he uses the beam.
Yeah. Through the Muto's mouth and basically hacks off his head. Uh,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I like that one.
Spoiler alert, unless anybody hasn't seen it. I can't imagine who hasn't seen it who's
We're
not
gonna
a
expect
big
Godzilla
Godzilla.
spoilers, and we're going to talk about Shin Godzilla 2. So uh, expect spoilers from that as well. Or Godzilla Resurgence is the other title for it.
Yes.
What is up with that word?
Well, I honestly, I don't, I think the Japanese for international audiences, I don't know if they had heard about Independence Day Resurgence or not, but like it was just pure coincidence that
Yeah.
that was their title. But then they came back and they're like, no, Shin Godzilla, we want to market it as Shin Godzilla, at least in the States.
Hmm.
We want to give it back to its true meaning in Japan. So that's what they decided ultimately to go with. Godzilla Resurgence, I think they're in some of their international markets is being used. I don't quote me on that. I'm not sure, but I
Right.
know that Shin Godzilla is mainly being used a lot right now
It's such a
as the
horrible
title.
word in a title. It
Yeah.
always baffles me.
I think maybe
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
that not that it always does, but for these these two movies in particular,
right.
like so dumb. Like who handles titles in Hollywood, Andrew?
I have no
So
the
dumb.
the marketing department. I mean, like the guy
Yeah.
that wrote the script doesn't name the fucking movie a lot of the time. Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy?
Yeah, yeah,
You know? So,
Godzilla
I mean, since we're
Resurgence.
already on the subject, I just want to say, and look, I am no expert whatsoever. I've only seen a few of these films, but that was the best fucking Godzilla movie I've ever seen in my fucking life.
it was
Cool.
really good.
It
It was
was
really good.
so good. And I knew the Rotten Tomatoes scores. It was like 88% or something. And
Yeah,
I just got a few notes like there's like no main character really. You could say the main character is Japan and how they handle this. Also, amazing social commentary where this is kind of a spoiler here, but like they're kind of like addressing the government and political impotency even in times of crisis. Like
yep,
they're
Hell
wondering
yeah.
how do we strike under our treaty with the U.S. Can we do it? Can we launch missiles? Are there civilians here? Under this article, under this legislation, we gotta have a meeting for every fucking move we take. We
yeah,
can't fucking act Like they can't do anything. Like big surprise, everybody. But Japanese people view their government as slow and never gets anything done. So, I mean, it sounds very familiar, right? And to see it in, if you put it in like this time of crisis, like in a time with, if something like Godzilla were to happen, it's just like like they found this really, really great, deep, kind of deeper message they could throw into a monster flick. You know what I mean? And of
Yeah.
course, the action is great and all that. But go ahead, dude. You, I'm done.
Well, the movie is very social relevant to today's times. I think the script itself is very clever in how it goes, and it's very unique for a Godzilla movie. I think a lot of people would say this movie is a bit. If you ask the general audience, they might say this movie is a bit too talky. But I found the government bureaucracy and the back and forth to be very intriguing and very engaging, because in real life, how would this play out in a governmental situation? You always see how the military reacts, from a third person point of view. You always see how everything acts out from a third person point of view, but not from the characters, the people that are involved with making these decisions. And they're big decisions. How do we minimize destruction without getting, our own civilians in the way? And there's so many things in the movie that harken back to 311, as they call it,
Right, right, right.
or as it's dubbed. The terrible tsunamis and earthquakes that happened back in 2011 in March in Japan, and the Japanese government was heavily criticized for the way that they handled the situation, how lackadaisical they were in getting the crisis. I don't know how you would say it, like
Handled.
handled, because especially with Fukushima, with the nuclear power plant, they didn't shut it down. They didn't take measures. They said it'll be fine, and it did melt. It did melt down, and there were huge implications from that are still being. I mean, you can't even go to that area. It won't be. I feel like, I think, was it? It'll be radioactive. It'll be in a crisis zone for the next 60, 70 years or something like that, even more.
Yeah,
I
they're
mean,
robots. When they send in a robot, a lot of them die because the radiation kills the
yeah.
battery.
Oh shit!
So,
Even robots aren't
I
safe.
think I think this was a way for them to tell the social commentary on it. It's a movie made for the Japanese,
The post
definitely.
Fukushima,
And
post
yes,
311 Japanese.
and it's blowing up over there. It's doing really well. It's made a lot of money over there, and rightfully so. It's making an impact on people. And over here,
Let's say that again.
it's making an impact,
All right.
on people. They're gravitating towards it, and people are going to see it more than once. You got sometimes with Hideki Anno movies, you may need to see it again to fully grasp things that you may have missed. There's a lot of dialogue in the movie, kind of very snappy. I had
Yeah,
to see
yeah.
it again.
Funny parts.
A lot of funny parts, a lot of parody, there's a lot of satire, but then it also is very serious
Yeah,
and
yeah.
treats it very grounded, which I
That's
I really like and I appreciate.
Yeah. It was like you had like these moments of humor, but then also they treated the monster segments with so much love.
Oh,
Like
they went down to the science and everything.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
I
how
mean, they
how
they
do we
talk about
understand
like
this thing?
they talk about like radiation, like you get into the specifics of radiation and shit, and the
Yeah,
specifics of the Japanese government, and you know, I don't want to spoil too much, but things happen with government people and all that, and
yeah.
I personally like the Japanophile in me. Didn't mind all the talking
Neither
in
did
kind of
I.
the middle section because I love seeing. Well, A, they're talking. You're seeing like the Japanese side talk to Americans and other foreigners and having
Yeah.
to deal with that. Like, oh, they plan to nuke this whole zone. The Americans, they're always so crazy or whatever.
Yeah.
They're not careful.
The Yankees.
Yeah.
And they literally say like and like after a win meeting they're like, you know what, we'll research together, but let us handle the military side of it. And to see
Right.
fucking Japanese helicopters and tanks scramble, you know, that shit was
Yeah.
fucking great. and to see them fucking load the trains with bombs and have all the fucking Japanese trains that I've ridden in my life uh, head to Godzilla's feet
Yeah.
and blow his ass up. Like, man, that was, I gotta tell you, dude. What else has come out this summer? This might be my favorite movie this summer. It's already
Damn.
fall.
I wish I'd
This
have seen it.
fall. This fall,
It
maybe.
was very creatively executed in the way that they had. I mean, if you look at that last sequence of the movie, the
Yeah.
train sequence, and the plan, plan A, plan B, all these different. That's classic Toho, um, meshing with modern technology because in classic Showa era Godzilla movies, even in the Heisei era in the 90s, you had all these fantastic plans by the military and all these, ways that the military was trying to combat Godzilla.
Right.
They had all these lavish weaponry and all these lavish plans, planned out to go against him, and none of them ever worked. But they would sometimes stall him and deter him,
Right,
and this
right,
was no
right.
different. They went full on classic Godzilla in the end, which I love.
Right. And it felt like there's like two layers here where like there's always that layer of like man versus nature. Like
Yes,
Godzilla's this unstoppable force of nature and man can do nothing, like we're just so puny compared to this. And they even call him a
yeah,
god several times, right? They use the word, and in this movie too is interesting
yeah,
because the Gojira comes from Godzilla. The English name is first in this movie, which I thought was interesting. And
yeah,
then there's also, the not just man against nature and man feels futile against nature, but also the Japanese people feel futile against any kind of threat. Like there's even that line from what's her name, Ishihara Satomi. She says
yeah,
like, in our country, America, the president decides what to do. What do you guys have? Who
yeah,
decides?
yeah.
And I think that's basically like the big message of the movie whenever she says that. If you could boil it down into like one scene, that's it.
Definitely. I also think if you want to talk about scenes that make a movie, um, in case anybody doesn't want to hear this, I don't want to give away too much, but there's a
Spoilers
scene,
incoming.
there's a scene in the, I believe, in the second act of the movie, where you have his energy weapon for the first time, and it is to me that sequence made the movie.
From the back
It's that it showed that the glowing and the music. It was very sad, but it was very jaw dropping, uh, very crazy looking, very uh, basically like annihilation. I don't know how else to describe it.
right.
It was fantastic. It was phenomenal.
And then there's that like, do as you like kind of thing,
Yeah,
which like there's also maybe look, I'm just bullshitting right here, but I feel like there's not just a political thing. There's very much a political thing, but there's also like this degree in Japanese society, I feel like, where they sometimes feel paralyzed by their own, I don't know, traditions or they feel paralyzed by their culture in a sense. Like there's so much, uh, decorum, or there's just so much. They're so nice that they can't really do anything. They're just stuck in this like nice mode, and they're paralyzed. And I felt like that was at least a little bit commented on in the movie as well.
yeah, definitely. Um,
Well, say it again.
said, yeah, you definitely hit it.
Right.
You hit it and quit it.
Hit it and quit it, boy. So, like, what does your girlfriend think of this, dude?
She actually is not too big of a fan of Godzilla. Uh, when we met, I had introduced her and she was okay with it. She went along with it, but over time, I think after this one, we saw in the theater, and she was very much, and it's understandable. She was very much afraid of Godzilla. Um, there's certain things that she said to me. She said, "I cannot unsee that." So, um, especially, I don't. I mean, you know, because you saw the movie, the beginning.
Yeah.
She's like,
Oh,
I
that
can't. She's like,
the first form.
I can't unsee that. So that is something that will haunt her forever, probably not forever,
Hey, you
but yeah,
still there? You broke up for a second. Can you say that again?
oh, did I say that's? I had just said that she was not happy.
It's not
Uh,
that. It wasn't that bad.
no, it wasn't that bad, but it probably won't
He
be.
has this. He has his first form in this movie. Again, spoilers, I guess, but Godzilla's not the Godzilla you know of at first. He
No
goes through kind of a
spoilers, no spoilers.
metamorphosis. All right,
Jeez,
all right.
Angie, calm
Anyway,
down.
all right. So yeah, that's Maddie. He's the resident creature freak, Jonathan.
Oh yes, hello.
Hi.
You guys should meet.
Yeah,
I'm the
definitely.
resident freak creature. Just kidding, I'm so alone.
So I also saw the movie with my girlfriend, and she thought that it was going to be like Godzilla versus Mothra or something, and was
Right.
surprised by the whole, message, I guess you could say, that the
Yeah.
movie had. But yeah, she thought it was all right, but I think she wanted more of like I said, like there's not really a main character in it. You just see it's kind of spread thin throughout this whole cast.
I mean, when they say 300 strong, it is 300 strong. I didn't know what that meant when they first had said, like, this cast is 300 strong. There's a huge cast, and everyone has a part, and no one gets overshadowed or overplayed. I didn't know. I was like, how can you even spread that out? And they did. They spread it out completely. Everyone had a voice. Everyone had their moments.
Yeah, there definitely were moments. I mean, you could make an argument that Yaguchi was the main character, but he has
Yeah,
just as much screen time as everyone else does. But to me, it didn't really bother me like it did her. It was like I just like seeing that Japanese teamwork, and they're sending in scientists, and like the shots of the scientists trying to figure it out. That
yep.
was great. That was just funny in and of itself.
hmm
I don't know, man. Oh, but going back to the one in like what was it, 2011, 2012?
2014, the 2014 one.
2014, 2014. So
Yeah.
when I noticed in that one, and that one wasn't as good as this one, but what was cool about that one was they made Godzilla the hero.
Yes.
Like very much like you're rooting for a Godzilla. In Shin Godzilla,
Yeah.
he's very much a destructive force, even though you kind of don't know why. He just kind of comes up on land or whatever, because what are you going to do? You can't really explain it. No one knows in the movie. No one, whatever.
That's a
But
very American thing to do.
But it's kind of cool. Like, if you
Yeah.
go to see a Godzilla movie, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Jonathan, but like, it's kind of cool to see the monster be the hero as well.
Totally.
Yes.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Of
It's
course.
very rare. They're always the bad guy, the demon, the thing you want dead you know, you always
Usually
want the humans
vilified.
to
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
When
That's
he
what I
Absolutely.
liked about,
when he split that mouth open and put the beam in his mouth, we were like
Yeah.
cheering in the theater, man.
oh,
Yeah.
my
I
favorite
think it was.
oh,
I'll go.
sorry.
Sorry. Go ahead. No, you please go ahead.
My favorite moment in the 2014 Godzilla is when the school bus or kids are on the bridge, and he like whips his back up to take on those rockets.
Yeah.
Because like I was watching it and I was like, did he just save that school bus of children?
Yeah.
There's
You know,
nothing
you know
really
what?
to.
fucking Boy
There's nothing
Scout
really
Godzilla.
yeah, there's nothing really to tell you that this Godzilla is a good guy at this point, except that he needs to fight these other monsters. And I was like, all right, I'm in. Let's see where this Godzilla takes me. But I really love that moment. Like
Must
I like
protect human
Godzilla.
larvae.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
like Godzilla as a savior. Like he's here to protect planet Earth from, especially in the 2014 one against these like man-made like, nuclear monsters. And I like that concept a lot. But I'm not like a huge Godzilla fan. Like I don't follow. I haven't watched all of them. I've seen the essential ones. I love Godzilla 2000. It's like my favorite, or Final Wars. That's my favorite one.
Ah,
Final, that
Final
was
War.
from a few years ago, right? Or a couple of years ago?
Yeah, he
2004?
fights
Really?
like
Holy
he
shit.
fights every
Yeah.
monster ever in the
Yeah.
Godzilla universe, and even the
Man.
like 1998. Was that the year that shitty Godzilla came out? What year?
98, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Godzilla.
fights what they dub as Zilla. Yes.
Yeah.
Zilla.
And it's the best fight in the entire movie.
Got
It
I
literally takes
actually
two
like that
seconds.
movie. I know it's like,
You
Oh,
just
Final Wars
no,
or
the
98.
98 one.
no.
Drake, the
I
worms.
I don't hate it, but again, it was like, yeah. Again, it was just like I just wanted to see the monster. Like I could care less. So it sounds like Shin Godzilla like takes a cue. Well, not from that in any way, but just they're not being like specifically a main character, and you like I don't know. I guess to me, Godzilla's always been the main character.
Yeah, there's no main human character, man. It's just kind of
Yeah.
it's
Fuck.
spread thin.
I think we need less of that anyway.
Right.
When
You
monsters are
get to see
concerned,
like the
anyway.
inner workings of like Japanese politics and like the government and all that. I mean, choppers, jets, tanks, trains, B-2 bombers, they scramble them all, man. It was fucking great. I had a great time, man.
Yeah, and what I really love about this one is that they modernized um, and made relevant the themes of what made Godzilla originally such a big hit back in 1954. Is that he's it's preyed on the fears of man about what nuclear power, atomic power can do if used the wrong way. This is the metaphor that we're going for, and that was the fear back in 1954. It's still a fear today, but back then during the Cold War, starting in the Cold War and all that, and being 9 years removed from Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that was a big thing. Hey, the nuclear fear is still relevant. However, more of the political fear of like how what we're like powerless to do anything. How can we do anything if we have all these restrictions and we have all this red tape and we have to do all these go through all these meetings and all this just to get a decision made? Like it's it was very much like I think that was a wake up call in 1954 with Gojira, and then this film will be a wake up call today, and it's just 60 shy of 62 years later after the fact.
I'm just I just want to say I'm very upset that this Godzilla was not released wider.
Dude,
Uh,
my
Like I was
theater
like,
yeah,
was
this is
packed, man. Totally
I
packed.
I was like, oh, I'll totally get this in Cincinnati. This won't be a thing, like, because there's been like Fathom events for like Yoga Hosers and like Rob
yeah,
Zombie's 31, and I was like, and no one like,
yeah,
I love Yoga Hosers, I love 31, but it's like it's fucking Godzilla, man. Like,
right.
who doesn't want to see a Godzilla movie? Like, do a Fathom
Yeah.
event for that shit. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
really stunned that it was
Dude,
like,
Cincinnati
it's like,
sucks.
yeah, it does.
Well, well, I think that was more of Funimation released it in here in the U.S. and I'm not sure if it was so much more of them not having the money to make a full on campaign for 4,000 some theaters nationwide, or if it was just more of a safe play for them. Let's get as many people in the theater in this short amount of time, see how it does, and either way, we're going to make money off of it. We'll probably make more money off of home video sales anyway.
Yeah,
And it's they're actually right now. I would say they should have done a wide release. It should have been a wide release nationwide, especially at this point in the year. And there isn't much coming out right now in
yeah,
terms of blockbusters. There's not a lot coming out in the theaters in mid October. So they had kind of an opportunity to take advantage of that. But what they did do right is sell out theaters in this short amount of time. People are going to see it 2-3 times just so they can see it before it gets out of the theater. I've seen it twice. I'll probably go see it again before it goes out. But it's made over 1 million or so,
That's good.
and it's 4 or 5 days in the box office, and only about 488 theaters nationwide. That's pretty good.
yeah.
That's really good.
It's very optimistic for the franchise, especially in America. You could argue we have more of a fan base here. I've heard through reading articles and talking to people that in Japan, Godzilla is very much a huge thing, but it's kind of turned into a bigger thing in America. Even though we look at it as like a niche audience, it's very popular
Yeah.
overseas.
everybody knows that name, Godzilla. They might not have
Yeah,
seen all the movies, but like that's like synonymous with King Kong, you know, like
recognizable.
Hmm.
Yeah,
recognizability is like through the roof, you know.
Well,
pop culture. Yeah,
One of my favorite metal bands.
there you go.
Yeah, there's
Gojira, yeah.
Yeah,
working in a lot of used video stores recently. Like you, very rarely are there like there's just like Godzilla films at the like in the dollar bin unless they're like
yeah.
scratched up. Like they're really hard to find. They usually come in. If you
Hmm.
get one, it's usually going out for like $7 to $8. It's not used, because this stuff isn't like you can't. It's not easily found very easily anymore.
Yeah.
So
You almost have
it,
to go online for everything nowadays.
yeah.
Either way.
Yeah. There's no reason to leave the house anyway.
Except to
I
see
actually,
Shin
you brought up a
Godzilla.
really interesting point about video rental stores. I remember and I'm kind of retracting a little bit. I'm going off into a thing, but back in the early '90s, we had a video store in our town, and I would go there every week. And if I saw a Godzilla movie on the shelf and I saw a cover, I was like, oh, I don't recognize that. I'd pull it down, put it on my mom's account, bring it home, watch it about a million times, take it back, go get the next one that I didn't recognize and watch that. That's how all of us had to find these movies and explore more of the franchise because you didn't really have internet
Yeah.
back in the mid 90s, and even in the mid to late 90s internet was still growing, and you couldn't go online and find all this information and
Yeah.
soak it up. You had to almost experience it yourself. So I had to rely on either my uncle buying me VHSs or me going to the video rental store and, oh, look, I don't recognize that one. Let me pull that one down. So
I
that
Right.
was
miss
an
the
interesting
video
point you
rental
made.
stores. I miss them so much.
Oh, yeah, they were great. I
I
used to go
mean,
every week.
yeah. Oh, just like I was the same way as a kid. I was like, oh, what's that horror movie with a creature on the front I haven't seen? I'll watch
Yeah.
that 10 times, take it back.
Yeah.
Like that was like Monster Squad was my movie. Like if I didn't see anything I wanted to see, it was like Monster Squad.
Sure.
Yeah.
I love that movie,
Very
man.
nice.
That's one of
I'm
the
in
Very,
the
very
best.
goddamn club, aren't I?
Yes.
Monster Squad. Very nice.
That movie rules.
Classic.
I am right now on mute watching the Blu-ray Shout Factory or Scream Factory edition of Pumpkinhead right now.
Cool.
It's wonderful. This movie
Love
looks so
Pumpkinhead.
good in Blu-ray. So
Love Pumpkinhead.
I love it. So good. Such a great creature.
I still have to see that one.
Oh, dude.
I do too. I don't think I've ever seen a Pumpkinhead movie.
Yeah.
Well, you only need to see the first one.
Oh,
Lance
good.
Henriksen, yeah.
Okay.
So what's the next movie coming out that we should look forward to, dude?
Well, if you're into anime, there is
Uh-huh.
it's just titled literally Godzilla. It's coming out in Japan. It's going to be an anime film that they're doing. It's going to be the first ever anime film for the Godzilla franchise.
Hmm.
And Godzilla's been portrayed in anime in like guest star or like guest appearances, not even guest appearances, just homages to like certain other TV famous anime shows and all that I know of. But yeah, we'll have a full-fledged anime film next
And
year.
next year, okay. Is that from Funimation as well?
No, that is from the company who had done the animation for Knights of Sidonia, if you're familiar with that,
The name, yeah.
and
Netflix.
Clone Wars.
Ah, sweet.
Oh
So
shit, okay.
yeah, yeah.
That's interesting.
But other than that, just Netflix, Hulu, they have a good deal of Godzilla stuff on there currently.
Is your favorite
If
on
you're looking
there? What was it called again?
Mothra versus Godzilla, 1964.
Okay, I
It's
gotta
the
watch that one.
it's To me, it's the most complete Godzilla film. It's where everything comes together, from the direction to the characters, to the actors,
Yeah.
to the actual screenplay, and especially the music. That's one of the main reasons I love these movies, is because of the sound, the scores.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that score comes on in Shin Godzilla, and I was fucking pumped from the get-go, dude. Like,
Well, yeah,
so
they used
good.
they used a lot
Interest-
of classic cues in the movie as well, if you noticed.
Interesting note on that, or interesting tidbit, and not that I have seen Shin Godzilla yet, but it's what's his name, Hideki. What's his
Anno.
name? Ano Hideki Anno. Um, my friend, he's a really big anime guy. He went and saw it at our limited release theater that we have here. And he was talking about how anytime like things ramped up or there was about to be an action scene, the piece of music in Shin Godzilla that would start to play is very reminiscent of Evangelion when the same thing would happen when the monsters would start to fight or
Oh,
when they
yeah.
start fighting. And if you go back and look, he showed me in the car, he showed me both pieces of music, the one from Shin Godzilla and the other one from Evangelion. It's like the same piece of music, except in Shin
Yep.
Godzilla, it's like electronic guitar instead of a more orchestral kind of like. Anyway, I thought it was pretty funny. So for Evangelion fans, I'm sure they knew it.
He did a
I'm sure they
Oh,
great
know that
job,
already.
man.
oh no,
He did a great
definitely.
fucking job.
Yeah,
You
I'm
gotta
really
tell him.
excited.
It's funny you mentioned that because I was a few months ago when the score was released. I of course got it and was listening to it, and I noticed whenever they're in the movie when you see the movie, whenever there's a meeting, whenever there's a plan they're trying to come up with, yeah, like you said, when it's ramping up and the editing's
It's
boom bam boom, it's that same Evangelion music, and it's literally the same tracks. I went back and I
yeah,
listened back, and I'm like, this is the same piece of music. It's just that he may have changed the octave or changed a few notes here and there, but it's literally the same rhythms, the same beats, the same harmonies.
yeah,
But I think
totally.
that was, and I heard that was intentional. There's an article that I have yet to read. I wish I could get it. It's this Chinese article. It was an interview with the composer Shiro Sagisu, who's Yano's guy. He does all of his stuff,
Yeah,
and who also did Evangelion. The rebuilds also did the show, and he had said that Anno specifically wanted these Evangelion tracks in the movie. Maybe because Anno is such a big Godzilla fan,
totally.
and loves Evangelion as his, like, it's his baby, that he wanted to bridge those worlds together and
Yeah.
make it
Mm.
special and personal in a sense. That's what I'm gathering from it, because I can only think of any other way that would be a thing.
Makes me wonder if a live action Evangelion is around the corner.
Oh,
Well,
that'd be incredible. With Ghost in the Shell being made.
Dude, that would be tight. I mean, it would be tight to have like a Japanese version, like Anno, just like realize it into live action would be amazing.
well, good luck there, because he's so stressed with it enough. I think he's doing the fourth. He started on the fourth one right now, on that fourth
Yeah.
and final film, and he's expressed how much it stressed him out doing these Evangelion movies, and even Godzilla. They
Hmm.
asked him whether he would do a sequel because of the success, and he said, "Well, I think I'm done with Godzilla for now." And he's like, "I think it would be nice to have a new director as a new perspective
Yeah.
on a sequel," which I'm down for. I'd like to see a new person helmet if they do choose to do that. Now it's interesting. Usually Toho, who distributes these films, usually they announce right after a Godzilla movie comes out, and they see the numbers. Right, they're usually quick to announce a sequel,
Yeah.
but they have yet to do that, and I feel like they're very reluctant to do so. They spent a lot of money, more than I believe. Don't quote me on saying the most out of any Godzilla film, but they definitely spent the highest amount or equal to of the movie. And in Japanese cinema, they're not spending $100 million on movies. Their highest would probably be 50 million, 40, 35
Hmm.
million.
Hmm.
That's right.
So
Damn, that's interesting.
yeah, so I don't know. It's interesting. I think they ended it in a way to make it ambiguous, to make it there could be a sequel. It could stand on its own. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Shit,
like
man.
all the best movies do.
Yeah, I really love this movie, and once I got out of seeing it, I made a comment to a friend of mine that most Godzilla movies I adore so much, but they don't. There's always certain ones that have scenes that stick in your head, right? You think of it in your head when you're just doing your everyday chores or when you're at work. You have an image in your head that sticks from a film that you just can't get out of there. And in Shin Godzilla has been the only film in a very long time that I've had that feeling that stuck in my head, like there's this one scene I can't get out of my head. And I told you what my favorite scene is in Shin Godzilla, but I just can't get that imagery out of my head, and it makes to me it makes it the best and most unique.
Awesome.
You can definitely say it's the most unique Godzilla movie that's come out.
Yeah, I was just so surprised they
You
could
know?
make a message like that work so well with the creature feature. Like I had heard like they'd done it before, the older ones, but I had never really seen I guess I've never really seen really good Godzilla film until this one. And again, I think I've seen less than anybody here. But
Well,
I'm becoming more and more of a fan now, especially now that I'm seeing good ones.
yes. To go back, I don't know if you've seen the original Gojira, Godzilla King of the Monsters,
I actually never
American.
have.
It's to me, it is the best Godzilla movie.
Okay.
Next to like, I'd say it's the most. It's the first. You know, you gotta go back to the first. The thing that started it all. Mothra vs. Godzilla is my favorite, but I think the best is the original.
Okay.
Because if you can look at the time, the message that it tells, it's the dark. Next to this one that just came out, it's the darkest. You know, it has that black and white, very moody, very noir to it, but
Yeah.
it's also the music. Everything is very dark and solemn, and there's a good character story. It's Shiro Honda who is the director. It's him at his best. Um, who
It
was
was
Akira
so unique
Kurosawa's
a
assistant director?
film.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd say if you're gonna watch a Godzilla movie, if you're gonna start watching a Godzilla movie, watch the original. That'll set the tone. And then they, over the years, they got more entertainment based.
Okay.
Let's entertain. Let's tell a message that's socially relevant for the times because every Godzilla movie had a message for its time that came out because they came out. You know, you have 1954 through 1975. That's the first era. Then you have 1984 through 1995. That's the second era. And then you
Okay.
have the Millennium series, which is the 2000s on into 2004, and then you have um, Shin Godzilla now, which if they do more, this would be the fourth era.
Oh, okay. I didn't know there were
But
eras.
yeah,
That's interesting.
well, if you break it down to eras, you have the 1954 through 1975 would be considered the Showa era,
Right, right,
which
right.
is based off of the emperor at the time. That's how they
Hmm.
classify the
Okay, just
eras.
cultural note here.
Cultural
The
note.
the traditional Japanese calendar that they still go by today, alongside the Western calendar, is based on the emperors. So when an emperor dies, it's a new one. So
Yep.
Showa was what was the last year of Showa? I forget. Do you know offhand?
Uh,
Okay, well anyway, we went from
well,
Showa to Heisei. We're
yes, it
currently
went
in
from Showa to
Heisei.
Heisei. Yeah, because it's his son, Hirohito's son, correct?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
That
yeah,
is in power, or no? Is
yeah.
it
I think that was Showa, right? I don't know the
that?
specifics,
Well,
but yeah,
Hirohito was the first era, was Showa era, and then
yeah.
when his son took over, it's funny because it's interesting. The Showa era technically was from 1926 to 1989, and the Heisei era technically if Godzilla movie starts, they classify it as 1984 to 1995, even though he was still alive
Oh,
in 1984, 85, 86, 87, 89. But they classify him because of the movies just to break them up because 84 started the new timeline
yeah.
in the films, just not to make it confusing for everyone.
I got another
Um,
cultural note here, off topic, but era in
yep.
Japanese is jidai, and a period piece or
Yes.
piece about an era is jidaigeki. George Lucas knew the word jidai and changed it to Jedi because he
Hell
was
yeah.
Interesting.
a
Interesting.
Kurosawa fan.
Ah,
Yeah,
very interesting tidbit. I'll have to tell my brother that. He's a huge Star Wars fan.
yeah, yeah. There you go.
Jedi. Hell, I
Jidai.
love that.
Yeah,
Jedi.
jidaigeki
Ah,
is a period piece, which is what all of Kurosawa films are.
Huh.
of course. Yeah. Very cool.
So, kind of switching gears a little bit here, but best Godzilla video game, Rampage, bro.
Rampage.
uh, for not having any official Godzilla characters in it, I would say I love Rampage. Rampage is great, but you know, an official Godzilla game. I always loved Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee. That was like full on brawls. Even though the action was kind of slow, you're with the monsters. You're in the city. You can throw buildings at people, monsters. You can means objects. The city's destructible. Those are pretty good. They had a new one come out a few years ago, or actually last summer, I believe it was. Um,
Did
it
you
was
play
just
that?
called Godzilla. I bought it. I played it for a while. It was it's literally for the true Godzilla fan. They noted, and it's very true because it's more of a simulator. Like if you love Godzilla and you love
Cool.
the history of the films, like you move around at a lumbering, slow pace. The controls are a little janky in the way they move around, but if you get used to them, it's really fun to like have the old music come on, and the old military marches when you're fighting the military. When the super weapons come out, like the Super X or any of their fantastical weaponry they've had over the years come out and try to fight Godzilla. They have the monsters come out, and they look great. They look true to the films, and you fight the monsters, and you have to destroy certain percentages of the city to like up your character's level, and you grow over time to
Oh
you get
man,
you to
you're
like
selling me.
I think you start out like 50 meters, and throughout the end of the game at the final
That's
stage, you can
awesome.
grow up to like over 100 and some meters tall. And it's a very interesting game. It's either you love it or you hate it. I found that with the fan base. Do you really love it or you really don't love it? I liked it, but I haven't played it in a while, and there's too many things going on out there for me to be replaying it. But yeah, I think a game that I still think of today as being the best Godzilla game. I think Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee or its sequel, Godzilla Save the Earth. They were great
What system?
games. They were on Xbox. I think
And GameCube?
in GameCube. I
Yeah.
think Destroy Monsters Melee originally came out on GameCube. That's when I got it, and then they got backwards compatible with Xbox and Xbox 360, and then the Save the Earth came out for Xbox, I believe, and 360, and I think PS2, maybe PS3. I can't. I'm not sure.
PS2 had it.
I only say that because I was an Xbox guy back in the day, so
Right.
I didn't know much about PlayStation at the time.
Did you ever play the Neo Geo one?
I don't think so.
I might not have had the exact license, but I think it was called like King of the Monsters or something.
Hmm.
It was an arcade slash Neo Geo home console one, and that one's pretty good too. Actually, I think that one was one that was ported over to Super Nintendo as well. So if you
You
played
know,
that version,
there was this interesting game called Super Godzilla. I don't know if you guys remember it. It was on Super Nintendo. It came out in the U.S. Um, I got it in about I think it came out in like '93 or '94. I got it. I actually still have it on Super Nintendo.
sweet.
I played it like a few months ago with my friends, and they were like, "This game is boring." Um, but no, but it was fun. It's one of those games where like you walk through a grid, like you're a dot on the screen. You walk through this grid and this map to get to the monster. Once you get to the monster, you have to find him on the map. And once you get to him, you bless you, you fight him. You fight that monster with basic moves. Like you can uppercut him, you can use a special move, and it's like kind of like a Mortal Kombat style. You know, like you each take your
Right.
turns battling each other. It was fun, but when I was a kid, it was fun. Now it doesn't hold up as much.
Like King of the Monsters.
Super Godzilla, it's what
Oh,
it's
oh,
called
oh, oh,
for
my bad.
Super Nintendo.
All right. Well, you guys have any more questions or what?
Look, I can't wait to see Shin Godzilla.
Right?
I recommend it. If it's playing in your area, its last official day for its run is Tuesday.
Oh
And
shit, for real? I'm gonna
sometimes,
go. I'm gonna go watch it tomorrow.
well, and sometimes they're running once a day. Depends on the theater. Like in LA, oddly enough, they're playing in a lot of the art house Lamleys.
Yeah.
But you have to go to a specific time because there's the one in NoHo where I saw it in North Hollywood has only been playing it once per day.
That's the
It's usually
asterisk on
7:30.
what I said earlier about my theater being packed. It was packed, but that's because it was the only time,
Yep,
the single time playing the
exactly.
whole weekend.
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah.
When did you see it?
I saw it like at the same time you and Mark saw it, actually. I
Oh,
invited
nice.
him. I was trying to invite him to my showing, and he was like, dude, I'm actually seeing it tomorrow, same time, different theater. And I was like, oh shit, all right.
Yep. Yep.
So cool. And I saw like all kinds of Godzilla shirts, like just the fans were out, you know? It was just cool. It was
It
really
really
cool.
is a great fan base. Like you meet a lot of great people who are very enthusiastic about it. And it's one of those fan bases it's one of those close knit communities where, I've met people at cons, at Comic Con and at Monster Palooza and all these different cons. And there's always Godzilla stuff there. You can always find a little pocket where there's Godzilla stuff. I went to Power Morph Con. There's Godzilla stuff there. And
Oh,
you just
sweet.
meet people and you talk to people and I saw those same people at our showing, yesterday. And it's just really fun to you create relationships as well. That's what's great about these movies is you can create relationships with people and talk in a community and relate.
Right. Fucking awesome, dude. I think I'm done if you guys are, and
Yeah.
Hopefully,
That was some good Godzilla.
hopefully I gave you guys enough.
Yeah.
yeah, man, it was great, dude. It's good to kind of. I never really talked to somebody that was like that knowledgeable on the subject, you know?
You probably get more out of me if you were seeing me in person because I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little camera shy, so
Oh yeah.
I
Well,
get a little I get a little
Whoa.
shy behind the mic.
Jonathan, you'll have to come back on when the new Predator film gets released because I hear you're a fan. And
I love Predator. My parents actually had to suspend me from watching it when I was a kid. They told me I couldn't watch it for like 2 weeks because I would watch it so much. They were kind of creeped out because I would at like 7 years old. At 7 years old, I'm popping the VHS in and watching it, every day.
yeah, no, I
I
totally
love
get you.
Predator.
One of
There's something about Predator.
my dad showed it to me after I saw like Terminator.
Oh yeah.
He was like, "Oh, check this movie out. It's called Predator." And I was like, "All right, cool. I'll watch this." And that part where he throws Arnold against the tree, I like looked at my dad and I was like, "He's gonna kill Arnold."
Yep.
And my dad's like, "Just watch. Just keep watching." And it was just like it was such a great moment. Like my dad loves to show me films and be like, "Hey, you know what? There's a sequel." And I'm like, "Why the fuck didn't we rent that too? Like,
Oh,
what have
and
we
when he
got to do for the rest of the night? Nothing."
pulls off the mask and he reveals himself, that's like one of the best reveals of a
Oh,
creature
dude.
ever. And you see his face, you one ugly motherfucker. I can't do the reaction very well, but
Yeah.
I was like, when I first saw the Predator, I was like, so cool. Look at those mandibles. Look at the face. Oh no, he's got all these gadgets. Oh, he's jumping around. Oh, he's got cloak.
I like
It
when
was-
I like when
Oh yeah.
alien translation. I was like, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, I was like, this thing is smart as hell.
It's
Yeah.
smart as hell.
I always like my dad. He would
Swear-
always sit me down before we watch something and be like, "All right, it's not real. This didn't really happen. I know you're just a small, like, get ready." Then he would put it on, and he would look over at me like when like killings happen or like when Predator reveals himself, and he was like, "Are you all right?" And I was like, "This is awesome." Like I just remember being like that creature to me was so fucking cool. Like it wasn't even
Oh, yeah.
scary. Like I
Not
was
even
like,
to,
this is
yeah,
amazing.
exactly.
I
It's
don't
one of
know,
those
man.
things.
Yeah,
Like,
you want the Predator to win.
Well,
oh,
it's
dude, every time he's in anything, I want him to win, but sadly, he loses most of the time.
it's funny. I'd asked you before, Andrew, about if we were on video call or voice because I was like, if I'm on video, I have this whole all these Godzilla figures like on display.
Oh shit.
I was gonna turn them, but then I was like, okay, good, because I don't have to worry about like fiddling with that. And behind me, directly behind me, there's a bunch of NECA Predators
No, so yeah.
Oh,
Oh
shelf.
well, dude, you
bet.
can turn on your video real quick, and the listening audience will just have to suffer.
I just
Good,
want to
yeah.
see.
That's right. You'll suffer, listening audiences, but I'll love every second.
But you know what, dude? Could you send us some pictures of your collection so we can post on the SuperHouse Facebook page?
Oh,
and-
most
and
certainly,
Twitter?
yeah, definitely.
Tight.
Let's see here.
Are you,
That'll
are
really
you
help.
psyched for the new Predator film?
Oh, very. Especially since Shane Black is doing it. I mean, who
Hell yeah.
better? The guy
Oh
who
yeah.
helped develop the original and was in the original. Like that's
Right, right.
Dude, I just recently saw The Nice Guys, and I was watching that, and I was like, man, this movie's great. And then it dawned on me halfway through that film, I was like, oh shit, this motherfucker's making a new Predator film. This shit's gonna be
right.
great.
Shane Black kicks
Totally.
ass.
He does. He's great. I love Nice Guys. It was funny as
So,
hell.
like, it's probably one of my top favorite movies of this year. Like, didn't think I would like it because I don't like watch a lot of comedies. Not
Right.
that I'm opposed to them. I'm just like a horror movie fan, creature feature. Like, that's my shit. And
Oh, of course.
and I was just like, all right, Ryan Gosling, I love you in most things. Let's do this. And Shane Black, let's go. And I was like, it's the only time a movie has ended, and I went, man, I wish this was a series or the sequel was out right now. 'Cause I want to see more of these guys together.
Totally.
I
cool.
just loved every second of it. But
I gotta watch that.
Totally.
did you like Predators?
You know, I did actually. It was interesting because it's okay to me. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I thought it was okay. I liked all the different Predators. That was
Yeah.
cool.
It was like
Um,
the whole time I was like, when they do the samurai part,
Yes.
I was like, this is as close as we're getting to feudal Japan Predator on film.
Pretty much. Oh
This
yeah.
is as
pretty
close
much.
as we're fucking getting, and I fucking
It's
love
pretty
that.
damn close. That was so good.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
that part
was
is
amazing.
You're rolling. I
The
remember.
more I
Everybody
see
was
it,
like,
the more I enjoy it, just for the fun aspect of it.
right.
I don't know,
Totally.
man. I think it does a lot of things really well, and then there's a lot of shitty stuff in it, but
It's a good
overall, I enjoy
homage. It's a good homage. I'll admit I saw it once in the theater. I haven't seen it in a while, so I'd have to watch it again and form another opinion. Because usually, sometimes it'll take seeing it something again to be like, okay, yeah, this was good, you know.
Yeah.
I've probably seen it like 10 times, but I didn't see it in the theater.
Nice.
I saw it in the theater twice because I usually go see any Alien or Predator movie except Prometheus at least
Oh
multiple times.
yeah.
So, like the Alien versus Predator movie, saw them twice.
Yeah,
I-
Alien versus Predator, the whole pyramid thing, that was cool.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. Like there's some really cool moments in that film, but it's terrible. I get it.
I
But
think everyone's on the
people are
same
like,
page.
"Why'd you see
I
it twice?"
actually.
I was like,
I'm
if I can
sorry.
if I can give Predator more money consistently, I will.
Yeah,
At
it's like,
some point, someone's going to make a great one. Like right
Right.
now, Shane Black is making a Predator film.
Ah.
What more could I ask for? So
I actually
It's-
really
it's-
enjoy
it's gotta be
Requiem. I mean, I don't really enjoy it, but I like Requiem.
Requiem's cool. It's a good concept. It's great.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking dark.
Honestly,
Yeah, I don't mind
totally
so
forgot
much,
about
but yeah,
that one.
yeah.
I totally forgot about that one. Don't know
I
why.
love it. Like one Predator, they go to the Predator homeworld. Great, first time seen on film. Then they call in one Predator to clean up everything.
It was a
Like,
great
okay.
concept, and it has really cool moments.
Yeah.
Very, very few, but it has cool moments. Otherwise, it's just kind of like an okay B horror
Oh,
movie.
the Predator
you know?
cool is fucking dope as shit.
Oh,
Like,
it's so good. The
look
Wolf
is so
Predator.
good. Yeah,
I
so
and
good.
I didn't mind
aliens look cool.
the Pred Alien or whatever. You know, it was like it was all right. It was okay. It's okay. I watched that one last year. I was in a hotel or something. It was on TV, and I remember being like, you know, I like Requiem better than
Oh, yeah.
the
Requiem's 10 times
Paul Anderson ones.
Oh, Paul Anderson. That
Yeah.
guy.
Event
but I-
Horizon. That's it. That's all he's done. That's good.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that was good, man.
Yeah.
Event Horizon creepy as fuck.
It's Hellraiser in space. What else do you want? Come on.
Yeah.
Mm.
Fantastic.
I want a Hellraiser in space.
Oh, they did that. It's called Bloodline.
Oh right, yeah, yeah. That's a whole other discussion. I love me some Hellraiser.
Right.
Dude.
All right, so I turned on my camera. I just need to take my headphones off real quick so I could just show you a quick
No
few of them
problem.
real
I
quick.
will narrate this.
Are
those
the NECA figures? Oh.
Oh yeah.
Alright, so
I
he's
can't
going
get
to
into
grab his
toys.
shit.
If I get into toys, it's over, guys. I'll have no money.
Yeah, totally,
Fucking,
dude.
dude,
Yeah.
I
I
look at Predator figures and I'm just like, fuck, I want it.
I
Like,
spent
the one-
yeah. Go ahead.
They released that one from like the Genesis game, the Predator 2 or
Yeah.
whatever, and I was like, oh god, I want that so bad. And I was like, you cannot spend $40 on that. Do not.
It's like it's kind of reasonable now if like when I look at figures and stuff.
decent job, yeah.
I spend a lot of time looking at figures and stuff like that. And now it's getting to be like $35, $40 a figure. I'm like, damn, that's cheap. You know,
Yeah.
because like so many of them are like, I want those alien ones, those NECA ones. They make such good figures, man. I wish I still had my Hellboy figures.
NECA does very well, except for their Godzilla line. That's just in my opinion, though. I mean, some people really like the NECA ones, but I think they do the Predator and Alien ones. They do an amazing job. This is they call him Big Red.
Oh yeah,
Whoa.
yeah, that's awesome.
He's the samurai, like the samurai Predator. He's got the katanas.
If someone they're like, Maddie, we're gonna give you this amount of money. It's gonna be however much you need to make a film. What film would you make? Predator and feudal Japan.
I would love that.
That would be it. It's just like samurai fighting a bunch of predators. It'd be fucking great. It'd be like 13 assassins with predators in it.
You could pitch that movie. You could pitch just that line, and then throw the tablet down, and then just pound your chest and walk away, and they'd be like, 100 million. You'd be like, okay. Like just that pitch alone would get. If I was a studio head, I'd be like, we're making this movie. I don't care.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So,
Predators versus samurai.
It's like the Last Samurai, but you got predators. You know.
Oh, yeah.
Hell, get Tom Cruise back. Who gives a fuck? Let's do this.
I'm fine with that. If Tom Cruise was like, yeah, let's make this shit, but I gotta be in it, I'd be like, well, fuck yeah, let's do this shit.
Yeah.
And then I would go, Andrew Steffen, I don't know how to actually direct a movie, but I have one. So let's make this shit.
My only request would be that we cast Carl Urban in some part.
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah.
Carl Urban has to be like
Listen,
the main
it's
guy.
feudal Japan, guys. Calm down. There's only so much I can do.
He could be
the credits roll, and then there's an extended scene. That's what you get.
Right?
You would have it mostly foreign language. You would have it mostly Japanese language.
Oh yeah, dude. I
Classic.
remember.
I'd say yeah.
There was a script floating around that, like, before Alien vs. Predator by Anderson came out. And I read it, and, like, the first half of the script is just, like, Predators talking, and it's all subtitled, and I was like, genius! Yeah. I could watch hours. I was like, if I could watch fucking the Planet of the Apes movies, which I love those, I'm not dissing them. The new ones.
Those new ones are so good,
yeah,
dude.
but, like, they sit there and talk for, like, fucking 30 minutes, and I fucking eat that shit up.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like, I will watch Predators talk in whatever fucking language they speak for fucking 2 hours.
Yeah,
I don't know if you read this. There's this book that came out called Forever Midnight. It was done by Dark Horse. It was published by Dark Horse, and the guy who did the screenplay for The Crow, John Shirley.
Yeah,
nice.
He wrote this novel, and it goes to the Predators. It goes into the Predators mythology and has them talking. It goes like back between perspectives, and they go on this planet it's called Forever Midnight because there's a point where it's daylight for like. Or it's like night for like months on end, and the predators come there to attack, to hunt, and it's like this human colony on there, and they fight this military group, it's kind of reminiscent of the first Predator, but it has these like it's very epically done, and I love the book. I was like, I've never gone through a book so fast. It's called Predator Forever Midnight, and they go through the whole like mythology and the background of the predators, and
this is
the predators are like
a graphic novel, or
it's a book. It's like a full-on novel.
Okay.
So you'd have to. If you're not a big reader, then you might not be into it. And I'm not a huge reader, but I loved it. I read through it in like a few days.
I'll probably pick it up. I probably have to at this point. I need to.
Probably should. I mean, it came out like I don't know how, like 2006 or so.
Yeah, I know John Shirley is like an author. In my working in bookstores, so and I know he does a lot of Predator stuff. I just started reading a book called The Silence by Tim Leben, who also does a lot of like AVP stuff.
Ooh.
And he did like the Alien Out of the Shadows series that came out like last year. I think there's like 3 novels, I'm aware of those guys in the books. The only Predator book I've ever read that I like breezed through was Concrete Jungle.
That one's great.
Which I think was also a graphic novel or a series of comics, but I don't know which came.
Didn't they make that a video game?
They did, but it's not in.
It's not the same story.
It's not the same story.
Okay.
It's unrelated, but that one was actually a decent game. People don't like it, but you kind of go back.
Dude,
You know, it was
I
fun.
I loved
That's
it.
that's
It's
the one with the
so
mobsters, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Then you
Yeah.
go through time and that yeah. Because the Predator stuff was awesome because they actually spent
Oh,
time on making the Predator cool. But
yeah.
like
So you
all
could
the other
cloak.
AI sucked. But
Oh, they
like
were terrible. Like you could sneak around people so easily. But
yeah.
like you would do the whole cloaking thing. You'd be up on a pipeline or a rafter, running, crawling around, and you could use all the Predator's gadgets. It was really cool.
Oh yeah, and then there was like the whole alien tie-in at the very end, which I didn't expect, which was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, and actually,
Oh,
it's
dude,
funny.
that's a cool game. That's a cool fucking game. Everyone play that now that's listening.
It's funny.
I'm
Concrete
playing it right now.
Jungle, the novel Concrete Jungle. I believe you can look that up. I'm not claiming that this is fact, but I had heard that that was the original. That was supposed to be the Predator 2. That was supposed to be
Yeah.
the movie, and they changed it to be Los Angeles because of the times in the early '90s, and they wanted Danny Glover in it because I guess there was complications with Arnold or something. I don't know. I heard this story
Well,
that
like
Concrete Jungle was supposed to be the movie,
in,
the sequel.
in Concrete Jungle, it's basically so you watch the first film and this human kills a predator, which like I guess in like the Jungle universe of predators, it's like maybe the first time a human's ever killed one.
Right.
So go, and this is several years later. So Arnold's character is like older, not as fast, and they kill him. But Arnold's character has a brother in Concrete Jungle, so they go after
Right.
him because he's younger and
He's a
he's
detective,
also
right? He's like a
he's
New
like a
York detective.
detective in New York, and like he's just like a good sport or whatever. So they go after him, and it's basically this a similar story to Predator. It just takes place in New York. So just
Right.
take everything from Predator 2, set it in New York, and just
It
have
would
the
have
black.
worked.
Yeah, no,
It would have. It
it would have been fucking amazing.
would have been awesome.
I really hope that they're trying to like maybe get to something like that soon. Like I don't know. I'd like to see Predator jumping around New York,
Yeah.
or Predators. I don't know.
Yeah. That'd be
I
amazing.
honestly would like to have seen a sequel to Predators. I like would have liked to have seen
Yeah.
the like what happened to Adrian Brody's character and like the what could like more ships that fell. Because if anything in Predators, I would have loved to see more alien races that they fought. Like I would have
Yeah.
loved to seen like Enemy Mine meets Predator. You know,
Yeah.
like Adrian
Totally.
Brody has to team up with this weird alien, and they have to like figure out a way to communicate and like survive. And I don't know, man, that shit would have been fucking fantastic.
Yeah. I agree. It's
Yeah,
always
man.
interesting when you have a predator and a human teaming up.
Well, yeah,
For
I would really like to see like a team like the original Predator that's like ostracized in this in Predators. I would have really liked to have seen more of a team up between the two, like Adrian Brody and him, like kind of like in AVP, the first one, like how there's that understanding that like the Predator has to use this human to survive this like alien queen.
yeah.
Like I would have really liked to have seen that dynamic in Predators or even in a sequel or something. But I don't know. Will I ever get this film? Maybe not.
Then we're gonna
Yeah,
need
I
Predator
wanted that one
VR.
so bad. I wanted it so
Oh,
bad.
the video game one.
Oh yeah, it's so great. I was like, I can't. Like I was telling them earlier, like
Oh,
if I
cool.
got into toys, it'd be over. I couldn't travel anywhere.
Well,
My room would just be filled with it. Like
You gotta do
honestly,
moderation.
yeah,
honestly, I'm running out of room. I would tell my girlfriend, I was like, when we get our own place, I've got to get like a display case because I
yeah,
have these shelves and stuff, but I'm running out of space. I have like Ultraman figures and Godzilla figures that are still in boxes because I can't fit them anywhere,
yeah.
unfortunately.
I have a few pop figures and I only have one action figure, and it's still in the box. Is the Pumpkinhead McFarlane
Oh,
toys? I
yeah.
picked it up for like I was working at Half Price Books at the time, and I think they put it out for like $12. So I got it half off, and I was like, hell yeah, I'll buy a toy for that fucking cheap. So
Of course.
that's the only one I have, and it just floats around with me in the box.
It's funny you say Concrete Jungle. You were talking about that one because they released this one recently. Well, in the past couple of years,
No,
the
dude,
Concrete Jungle like cover
yeah, it's so
version.
good. Yeah.
The
Well,
the plasma caster keeps falling off. The arm keeps
Oh
falling
yeah.
off for some
That
reason.
any Predator toy I've ever had, that always happens.
They're so they're so like they're such display pieces. If you like mess with them, they get all But that's
These
yeah.
are these are not meant to be played with people.
This is true.
You
This is
just
true.
look at
That's why All my Godzilla figures, the cheap Bandai ones, I'll give to my kids,
Yeah,
and the SH Monster arts, like these ones.
yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that guy.
Yeah. These ones, they're highly the articulated ones. I will keep those
When
ones.
I saw the
That's keep my book.
2014 Godzilla, I was with 2 or 3 other Japanese girls and a couple other white dudes. And the Japanese girls said that there's all kinds of versions of the word cute in Japanese,
Yeah.
and they said that Godzilla in that movie was dekakawa, which means huge and cute.
I'm
Huge
okay with
cute.
What's they
that.
say about me?
That should have been the tagline.
Right.
That's Stefan's tagline.
That the new Godzilla, I don't think anyone would be saying that.
No.
King
He's just
Godzilla,
creepy looking.
he's very creepy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially his few forms.
Exactly.
I'm so excited to see that. Like I was like when I read about there were going to be forms of him, I was like, oh my god, I can't wait to see this. I hope it comes here, and now it hasn't, and I hate it.
We're at in you're in Cincinnati, right?
Yeah, I think the closest one is like I don't like. I was talking to a guy at like I work in a mall, and he was at a cookie stand, and he was like had a Godzilla shirt on. I was like, oh, are you gonna go see the new one? He's like, yeah. I'm driving like 2 hours to go see it. And I
Oh,
was
wow.
I was like, Jesus, I can't do that.
Well,
Like I
if
like
you-
Godzilla, but fuck.
If you go on Funimation, you know about the whole Funimation's website. They had the whole, you put in your zip code in the theater finder
Yeah,
on the Godzilla page, and you can find out the nearest theater to you
yeah.
where it is.
I honestly like I get to LA like next week, like Wednesday,
Ah,
and I was like, Andrew, please tell me there are more showings. And he's like, I think this is it. And I was like, damn it.
well, I will
Build
say
this
this.
sooner.
What's encouraging is that this movie has sold out a lot of showings,
Yeah.
and it's made a lot of money for the short amount of time that it's been in, and the amount of theaters that it's been in.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't rule out the possibility of maybe another limited release at some point down the line, maybe before they put it to home video. Depends on how fast they want to put it to home video and make their money.
Yeah,
But-
I was kind of hoping they might do like where you can rent it like for 24 hours or whatever, but you pay
Oh,
like a
right.
theater price for it or whatever.
Digital,
just for-
like a digital release for yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was really hoping that was going to occur since it was so limited.
Yep.
But, I mean, they might still do it since it's done pretty well. Because I would like since you were coming on and like Andrew saw it, I was like, oh, I'll totally like rent that shit. Like I want
Right.
to see it. So, and if I have to see it sitting in my own home, that's fine. But
It just
I love the theater experience, especially for like films like Godzilla and like I like Predator and stuff like that I grew up with watching. So like I have to go see those movies in the theater. So
Dude, people applauded in the beginning and end of my screening.
dude,
People
Yeah,
were
same
into it,
here.
man.
I love that so much when people just like there's no talking throughout the entire film.
yeah.
And then
And
there's just like the stand up and the applause. That's like what happened when I saw Force Awakens. I was like, yes, you people are good. All good in my book.
It's just like I could just see like super Godzilla fans like Jonathan. They go to the theater and then they're like, Japan, you did it again.
I mean,
You
honestly,
brought the goods once again.
out of all their restarts, I wanted to say reboot because Godzilla has been rebooted a few times, but this one was like an official like reboot. He hadn't existed in our time. No one knew about him,
Yeah.
and he just comes out of nowhere. It was on par with the original, but in a different way, which I liked a lot. And it's very different for a Godzilla movie, which makes me like it even more because I love how you gotta, to stay fresh, you at times have to kind of stray from the usual path while also keeping things familiar. And they did a perfect balance
Exactly,
of that to
yeah.
me.
I also really like the trailers for it, like at least the American ones are like I don't know what they released.
Well, Funimation, yeah, you're right. The Funimation they knew their audience because they made a classic trailer with Akira Ifukube, who is known for the very recognizable Godzilla themes, the Godzilla music. His music was played off that trailer, and it was the quick cutting and the old special sound effects and all that, which is another thing that's really cool about the movie.
I just liked how they didn't really like they just showed you that like the first form they didn't really give it like I really don't know what that movie's about watching those trailers, but I know I'm excited.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, and that's like,
exactly.
I feel like American trailers today, or even like sometimes like extended Japanese trailers, or even like they give so much away now. And I was
Yep.
just kind of like surprised by like how it was like, I watched like the first one that was released and I was like, are they even going to show Godzilla in this? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it's just like scenery. And, but I just really like the marketing that I've seen. Like, I haven't watched everything that came out. I think I saw like three of them. And I was
There
just
any
like, all
titties in
right.
the new one?
No, man.
Godzilla.
It doesn't go full on Ano, it doesn't get really weird, but
Yeah.
uh,
Damn it.
it's it gets weird enough in a very conservative way for Godzilla.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like Toho was like, you can make it however you want, but don't make it like Evangelion, like weird,
Yeah.
you know.
Was this a response to the American one in 2014 being a success?
Oh, I think completely. I think they saw they could because Japan, Godzilla was gonna come back to them at some point. They were gonna do a new one, but I think originally they envisioned sort of, and it was alluded to in articles about the passing of the torch. Like, you know, we have this deal with another American company. This one did, the new American one did very well. It was well received, regardless of how people thought of it. It did well, and they're going to be making sequels and all that. So, but I think when Toho saw the full response from that movie, they said, you know what, we got to bring it back. The audience is still there, and the draw is still there. So why not, take it back to us and do a new one and see how it goes. And I think it was validation that, like, and I've read articles on this recently that Godzilla, I mean, is king in Japan. Like, Japan knows the property, they know how to handle it, and to me, they hit it out of the park.
Right.
Did you like the 2014 one?
I did, but I recognize there are, no movie is without its flaws, obviously, but I think that one had, for as good as the action was, with the guts, with the individual effects
Yeah.
which were stellar, but um, I think the human
Hold on one
element has
second.
to be
Hold on.
there.
Hey, Stefan, are you rustling around? There's like some
Possibly.
major rustling going on.
Oh, sorry. I was biting my dog.
Okay. Sorry. It got to the point where like I couldn't even really hear Jonathan.
My apologies.
Okay.
I was cuddling her in my lap.
All right. All right. Go ahead, Jonathan. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. But it was oh, well, I got distracted. What was I saying? I was talking
You're
about.
saying it was made for Japanese audience, Toho.
No,
Uh,
you were talking about the 2014
Oh, yeah,
Godzilla,
yeah,
like the effects and the
yeah. Well, for as good as the visual effects were, and the monster action and all that, I think that anything is true to this day is that the story has to be good first, and that is paramount. And regardless of how much action you have in the movie, regardless of how cool it looks, your characters, your human characters, have to be engaging. They have to move the plot along. And if that's not going to happen, then you have to focus more on what is this movie about. It's about Godzilla. So, and this is one thing, and this is something that people say that, yeah, Godzilla wasn't on screen for that long, and he was kind of like a supporting character in the movie. But if you look back to even the earliest Godzilla movies, his screen time at times is a little less than Godzilla 2014. So, but they do it in a way that the storytelling is good enough, and the human characters are good enough, and the story moves along at a pace that you really don't notice it. But in this one, it was magnified because the human characters weren't as good. And so now you're saying, okay, well, this movie is not good without a lot of Godzilla because these human characters aren't good. And
yeah.
that's where the disconnect is. And that's where the movie faulted. I think that's a Gareth Edwards not a rookie mistake, but I think that's just a product of first movie jitters. He's not doing Godzilla 2, and he's not venturing on, but um, you know, I say Shin Godzilla to me is vastly superior
Yeah.
to Godzilla 2014 in that in regards to the story and how it's executed.
Yeah.
And at some points, I would say Shin Godzilla has less screen time than Godzilla 2014, or it just has about equal. But it's the way and the manner of how you tell your story that is the most important, and they did. Japanese, that is.
Did you like Gareth Edwards' Monsters?
I wasn't a huge fan of it. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was kind of boring, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not a lot happening.
I like Scoot McNairy a lot.
I do
I
too.
feel like he carried that fucking film through the entirety of it.
Yeah.
But I thought the creatures, I was like, for a movie that says monsters, you got to give me some more, man. Like, I
Right.
understand you need a story and I get what's going on
Right.
here, but like, fuck. Like, it's only the one, and it's like,
Hmm.
it's plural here. Like, let's see some weird shit. Like, and
Say
I
it
understand
again.
it's a smaller film, so. What? Andrew? Hello?
Hello.
Tori Hanzo.
Hello?
Okay, now you're just coming back on. I don't know what. Just a little break in connection there.
Who's
But
got the
yeah,
police
like,
on their ass?
I'm excited for Rogue
I
One.
do.
I'm excited to see what his second feature will be. Like, super
Totally.
excited for Rogue One. So
Rogue One looks great.
Yeah.
From what I've seen. What I'm more interested in now is what is going to happen with Godzilla 2, because all the focus once Shin Godzilla dies down, once Kong comes out, because now they've established this universe, right? Once Kong comes out, and who knows what will happen in that movie and how that'll be received, then the focus will shift. That will be their next tentpole movie. So
to them battling.
yeah, because then it's gonna go Kong Skull Island, which will start the Kong timeline, and then it'll be Godzilla 2, and then Godzilla versus Kong, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
yeah,
Which will be interesting. We'll see. I want to see how they treat some of the classic Toho kaiju. Like, they've already said that they could use King Ghidorah, the famous three-headed golden dragon,
yeah,
or Rodan, Mothra. All three of those they have the rights to use.
yeah.
So to see those
Mecha?
revisioned, not Mecha. I always thought that'd be interesting to see
Yeah.
in an American point of view, from an American perspective.
Totally.
What about Godzuki, bro?
Absolutely not. Although I do have the Hanna-Barbera first volume cartoon. A friend got it for me on DVD a couple years ago.
The intro is pretty cool though in that one. I feel.
Oh
like.
no, yeah, it's classic 70s bravado, like up from the depths. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah, it's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah,
How about the Godzilla animated from the early 2000s?
I loved it. I thought
Me
it
too,
was,
yes.
I thought it was like, now that's what your movie should have been.
Yeah,
Something like it.
Agree.
Like, I feel like
I loved it.
TriStar, they knew the mistake that they had made. They already scrapped their sequel, and then they decided, okay, you know what? Let's make this a sequel to the movie. And if you ask any fans, and even just people casual, like a friend of mine's a casual fan in general,
That's awesome.
they love the cartoon. I thought the cartoon was great. The monsters he fought, and he
That's
has
so
a
good.
breath, and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That creative team was great too.
They were
did the
great. Men in Black.
Men in Black and Extreme
Yep.
Ghostbusters.
oh, of course,
Good
great
stuff.
team, good stuff to follow. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would be interested to see a new Godzilla cartoon.
Hell
Whether that
yeah.
be
Especially with what they've done, and or even like you were saying, like Knights of Sidonia, that style of cartoon or whatever, would be really cool to see. Like,
Netflix.
It's
pick
interesting
that
what
shit
they're
up.
going to do, because they said it's technically, I say anime film, but it's going to be CG. So I don't,
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's going to, it's not, I don't think it's going to have that nice Sidonia look to it, but
Okay.
it may have like a CG computer generated look, kind of like your Final Fantasy films, or something, not
Oh,
as
okay.
high quality, probably, but like something similar to that.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, fuck it.
Great news for Godzilla is, and for fans, is that the franchise is back. I mean, Godzilla has not been this publicized in the mainstream in a very long time. He hasn't been out there in the in
That's cool.
pop culture, it, like at the forefront in a while. It's been a long time.
Now I have a
So
question. Are there conventions? Are there Godzilla conventions
there
or
is there
kaiju or anything
is
like that?
there is this one convention. It's held every year in Chicago. It's usually the first or second. I believe it's the second weekend in July.
Cool.
It's called G Fest, literally G Fest. It used to it took place in Los Angeles once back in the '90s, but it didn't do so hot, so they moved it to Chicago, and now they do it there every year. It's been a thing that they have
Cool.
a lot of the gods, some of the actors from the classic films or the costume makers or whoever, they come over. They have special guests. They come over, and it's really a well done event. I've never been. I've always wanted to go, just never had the opportunity. And I feel like maybe this next coming summer I'll finally go
Yeah.
to G Fest. I have to go. I mean, it's the perfect
Superhouse
thing for me.
correspondence at G Fest.
Really, I mean, I could. I just go in there and
He'll be
be
there
the
by
news
then.
guy.
What is
Yeah,
it?
you guys are in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Well, yeah. I mean, the tickets aren't that expensive. Like it's a 3 day weekend. A lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool events, and they also have this thing that they're doing. They have Power Morphicon in August in Pasadena here every year. But
I missed that one.
this next year, they're calling it the Tokyo. They're calling it the Japanese Heroes Fest, and they're not just making it for Sentai and all that, but it's going to be all like tokusatsu. So you're going to have Godzilla suit actors. You're going to have Ultraman. You're going to have Power Rangers and Sentai.
That's
It's
the
going to
one
be
in
an
Pasadena?
overhaul. Yep,
Cool.
That sounds
overall.
amazing.
And
Can I
that's
ask you
That'll
a
be
question,
tight.
dude? How old are you? I just want to ask you something.
I am 32.
Oh, we're
Oh.
about the same age.
Yeah,
And you were into Power Rangers when you were a kid?
I was. Well, I was. It was around when that Power Rangers came out. When I was watching it on TV, I believe I was in fourth grade.
Yeah, I was in third. You're a year older than me.
Yeah,
No, wait. No, we're about the same age.
fourth or
We're same age.
fifth.
I forget my age sometimes.
So I love. Oh yeah, I love Power Rangers. We used to go out in recess and make our own, morphers and pretend like we were. Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
I
But
had all the action figures. You had to go to the Toys R Us and pull someone's hair for the Dragon Zord.
were you made fun of? Because even at the time, people said you were too old for it, even though you were 9 or 10.
You know, Honestly, not really. Not in our town. Like it was a small town, but like a lot of the kids that I knew were all into it. I guess it. I didn't really pay attention to that stuff. Like if someone
Right.
was making fun of me, I kind of just tuned it out. I got made fun of for Godzilla a lot. I know that.
Okay.
Well, which like anybody would, and you just get teased by kids back in the day. It's like
Yeah, I remember being 9 or 10 and people saying I was too old for it, and I was like, man, this has
not even.
martial arts and robots.
Yeah,
I'm already into this shit, and
yeah.
sucks like superheroes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
I felt the need to like keep it hidden, my interest in Power Rangers when I was a kid for some reason. And then like looking back on the timeline, I'm like, I'm not, I was definitely not too old for it. It was like right about the right amount of time. But I remember growing up around a lot of like hood kid types.
oh yeah.
Well, it was kind of hood in my neighborhood, but just like yeah, like any of that shit. You have kids the same age, and they're already like talking about how they're fucking up gas stations and shit. And I'm like, oh, Power Rangers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was just a lot of bad kids that would, and it's usually the ones that are making fun of you, are the fucking asshole kids. So it's funny that Andrew asked you that because we've talked about it on other shows, and now I'm starting to like look back and see this whole new perspective on like. Like fuck them. I'm still a Power Rangers fan.
Just kind of like especially with the new movie coming out. Like I haven't really gone back and watched the show or anything, but I thought that trailer was fucking great.
It was cool.
And I posted this on my personal Facebook, but I just feel like if they do Avengers meets Pacific Rim, we're in for a whole great new franchise, and
Now-
maybe a little bit of '90s nostalgia, but not too much.
well,
Go ahead.
if you're into, I mean, obviously we're all into Power Rangers. Have you seen the originals where it came from?
Actually,
Rangers
I have
and-
not, but there was one thing that really threw me for a loop when I was a kid, where like there was that one like bird villain. I forget his name. He's like blue. He was like a blue type monster guy, and that was actually that toy was used in a Pete and Pete show. And Pete and Pete came on before Power Rangers was ever on.
Huh.
So when I was a kid, I didn't know about the whole Japanese thing about it, right? I
Right.
just thought it was all new, and I was like, how did Pete and Pete go forward in time and get a
Yes.
Power Rangers villain and
Right.
put it in their show?
Right.
It's exactly
Totally threw me for a loop.
what
What
they
were you,
did,
what were you
Andrew.
about to say for the Japanese side?
Oh no, I was just saying if you're really into still like the original Power Rangers, then I recently in the last year I bought, a Shout Factory's been releasing the original Sentai versions of those where they stem from. Zoo Ranger,
Yeah.
which is the original Power Rangers, and then it goes on and on into the ones how they evolved over the years. And it's really interesting to watch because you're seeing all the differences, but all the similarities between what they took to use, like obviously all the action sequences and all like the Sentai stuff, the Tokusatsu stuff, they kept intact. But you see all the differences and all the similarities. It's really interesting to point them all out and see
Yeah.
how kind of different they are, but how similar they are.
Yeah.
That will really throw you for a loop.
My brother said he's watched some of them, and he said that the green/white ranger is like a little kid in the Japanese one, and he's like a
Yeah.
piece of shit.
Yeah.
He's like a Damian Wayne type or something. He's just a
That's awesome.
little shit.
And the Yellow Ranger is not a female; it's a male in the
Oh, wow.
Japanese.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you
Interesting.
look back on Power Rangers and you look in the show, at some moments during the scenes where they're fighting like the putties or they're in action mode in their costumes, you'll notice the difference slightly. That
They
it's
could
not
do with
the female.
renaming those, by the way. They should just rename the putties. That's just a stupid name.
Yeah.
They had
Yeah.
cool figures though, where you punch the middle and their
Explode.
things explode off.
Crash Dummies
That was
did
fun.
it.
That's,
I'm just kidding.
that's true.
I actually really enjoyed the it was a more recent one. It was the Samurai Ranger. I watched that one all in Japanese on YouTube.
Oh,
Oh, shit.
Before YouTube went the Apple route.
yeah.
When you could still find bootleg shit on YouTube. That was great.
Yeah.
But that show was amazing, and it wasn't, I'm sure it was geared towards kids in a lot of ways, but just the way
Right.
that they handled the storytelling as a primetime show. And a lot of those Sentai shows are they geared towards kids or a broader audience?
Well, I feel like they're more towards a broader audience. I've always felt like Japanese
Yeah.
audiences, they always treated them more mature, even if they were kids
Mhm.
shows, because they always had more of a sense of like urgency. Like there in the Japanese version of of what the original Power Rangers took from it. It's so much more serious. Every character has their own like backstory, and they have their own singular episodes sometimes, and they're dire straits, like serious subject matters and topics that are going on, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
very interesting to see how serious and dark it can get at times compared to the
Mhm.
always happy and light US version,
Yeah. Well, and then the Samurai one was like they were battling yokai, from like
Oh,
Yeah.
the
That's
realm. You know what I
Very
mean?
cool.
But like for any watching what I was watching, like the Westerner would perceive that as being like satanic and that vein of things, and the Japanese representation of those characters was kind of like on par with that. It was frightening elements to it. They were very like you said, like dire straits. They focused a lot of the time on very like dire circumstances that like the battle, like the between worlds, like it was almost like Mortal Kombat or something, like the Outworld or something.
Yep.
How they mix in these like young characters with more mature themes as they play through, and anybody who's seen Power Rangers in America from the 90s on, their perspective of it is that of those people that probably think you're too old for it or whatever, but there's so much more going on in those shows, and like anybody writer shows from like the 70s would know that as well.
it's funny when we talk about how kids, would tell us, or people would tell us, "Oh, you're too old for that stuff," and then here we are today, and it's more popular. I think it's more in the
Totally.
in the realm of popularity now than it ever was when we were watching it, and now it's like almost acceptable now, to be like a huge nerd to these subjects like Godzilla and all that. It's like no one really will
Yeah.
tell you, "Oh, that's dumb." Nowadays
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I don't
Pe-
think you
pe-
can have any like room to say that, especially like if you look at the example of Shin Godzilla for one. Like again, we've said a few times, like this has like a very important message, not a message, but kind of a commentary on Japanese society.
Oh, totally.
So
Yeah.
it's not just a guy in a suit or a CG or whatever knocking down fake buildings. Like there's really some substance there.
Yeah.
So sure, you could say it is nerdy, but it's just like it's still like at least it's saying something.
Oh, that's
It's
why I love it so
you
much.
know
Like there, and even if you look back at the old, um, from the '60s into the '70s Godzilla movies, they evolve with the times. There's social issues like
right,
Godzilla versus Hedorah, which was 1971. Um, that one had a lot to do with that. That one spoke to pollution in Japan because pollution was a huge thing at the time. And yeah, it was kind of on the nose the way they did it. The smog monster, he's death, destruction. But like, it was a huge thing in Japan. Like they were getting very industrial and the pollution was really high over there at that time. And that is not one of the most favorite Godzilla movies by I'd say the majority standard. But it's definitely another one that like is very unique and different and does it kind of gets away from the norm and
right.
tries to like say something. And all Godzilla movies have these messages in them. You just have to kind of watch them and take them in and you'll see that message, or you read an article where you'll hear an historian or someone talking about the social implications of these movies and where, how they got inspired by doing one thing over the other. And it's really interesting when you look into the history of it.
Right. So
Lot going on in 62 years.
when you have people say like, "Oh, this is just for kids," it's like, sure, it can be, it is for kids, but also like these things that they're trying to say that could be for anybody.
Of course. Oh yeah.
Great.
100%.
That's I think the Japanese are quite good at
Oh,
this kind of like
children's entertainment here.
they're good at
Yeah.
mixing like what do you call it? Like something that's kind of like on the surface seems kind of dumb, or at least not too deep. But then you take like a
Right.
second look at it, and it's like, man, this is pretty
Yeah.
deep actually.
Yeah.
Like they're really good at that. I think better than Americans in a lot of ways.
Totally.
I totally
Americans just inject innuendo.
Right, right, right.
I agree. That's why I feel like Godzilla is best handled with as much as I want to see the American franchise continue and grow and do good things. Because the more Godzilla out there, it's better for the fans. It's better for everyone.
Right.
Whatever shape Godzilla takes, whatever form it takes, wherever the franchise goes, as long as Godzilla's still out there and they're still being made, like I bet my uncle was telling me the other day, he's like, I didn't think Godzilla would be this socially relevant today. Back when I was a kid, like who would have thought something like? I mean, it's the longest, it still is the longest running franchise, film franchise out there. It's like, who would have thought? But it's because it has staying power. It's generational too. You have kids being brought up by their parents or the people who they look up to kind of they're passing the torch on and on and on. You see that happening probably with everything.
Right. Oh man. Good
Oh, yeah.
Godzilla
That's the
talk.
best.
Yeah, it's a good thing you didn't ask me about the
Evolved in.
music because I could go on for that about that too. I love everything about it. There's just so many aspects of it. You could go on literally forever.
Mhm.
I do have a question. You said you knew about Ultraman
Yeah,
a little
love
bit.
Ultraman.
Like what Ultraman should I watch? I got to tell you, I've never ever
Yeah.
watched anything from Ultraman. I've been a Japanophile my whole life.
Hmm. I'm always a traditional guy. I love the originals so much, and the original show, the original Ultraman, is great. Ultra 7 is another really good one. That's essentially like the sequel series, even though it isn't really a sequel. It was the one that followed it.
Right.
Um, Ultra Seven. If you love classic, if you don't mind watching classic uh, TV like television shows like sci-fi shows, they're kind of in the same. It was all the same special effects people from the Godzilla films. Like they all go hand in hand. That's who made these shows. Um,
Mm.
I would say if you're in for more modern fare, there's Ultraman Orb. If you have Crunchyroll, it's streaming on there. They
Oh
have
shit.
Ultraman and Mebius, I believe, is on there. The Ultraman X,
I
you can
gotta tell
stream
you,
on there.
dude, I would pay for Crunchyroll Classic, like vintage anime and vintage Japanese shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch most of this new shit, man. It's mostly terrible.
Well,
Like I want to see all this, like, let's say like '80s and before. Let's just focus on that. I'll pay extra for it.
you know what? Then I would say you can
Definitely.
watch the original. I believe you can watch the original Ultraman on Hulu.
Oh shit. Okay.
Or I don't. It's not on Netflix. I don't think it's on Netflix, but I know Hulu definitely has, or it had, the original Ultraman. Ultra Seven, you'll just have to look it up. Ultra Seven is my favorite. I feel like they did the show. They didn't have the budget that they had for Ultraman. They kind of skimmed their budget a little bit, so they had to tell more stories. So it has this more darker, like Twilight Zone type feel to it, and the characters' stories are good, and all the monster kaiju stuff is really entertaining too. It's very fun, but it's also a lot more serious and takes a darker turn. I think Ultra Seven probably is my recommendation for favorite Ultraman show.
Dude, Spider-Man is showing up in Attack on Titan comic books in Japan, like in
Oh,
at least in
crossover, yeah.
some crossovers happening, and like Marvel's trying to hit that Japanese market. It'd be
Hmm.
cool if like I don't know, like Guardians of the Galaxy 3, 4, some movie down the line, like Ultraman just in the background somewhere. That would
That would
be
be really
if there
cool.
was some sort of cool
Yeah.
crossover to kind of get that shit. Not like a huge thing, but let's say there's like a cantina type scene and he's somewhere. I don't
Totally.
know. That would be
Well,
kind of cool.
have you read Ready Player One?
Oh, it's
I
so
have
good.
not.
And,
Ready Player One does that exactly, pretty
yes,
much. It
yes.
crosses over so many different pop culture
Oh, dude.
icons. Ultraman, spoiler alert, I'm just gonna say Ultraman, Godzilla universes collide in a
Yeah.
God
sense.
damn it.
Also,
Okay.
you have Star Wars and you have all these other references to things. Steven
The,
Spielberg is doing an adaptation, by the way, the movie
the,
adaptation. Who knows how
the,
that's going to be?
for anyone in the Superhouse podcast who talks on it, there's no reason why like you should read this book. It
Maddie,
is
Yes,
for us.
post
It was
haste,
written
Maddie.
It's
for
gonna be
us.
Superhouse Book Club.
I've read it. Dude,
I
I'll read it
agree.
again.
Alright.
It's
I
so
agree.
fucking good.
Very engaging for a book. Like I said, I'm not a huge reader, and I blew through it in about a week.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
great.
it was very entertaining. And a friend of mine was like, "Trust me, you'll love this book. There's certain parts of it I know for a fact you'll love."
Yeah.
And as soon as those parts hit, I was like jumping up while I was reading. I was like, "Oh,
My
this is
my
amazing!" I was like a little kid.
my favorite part of that book is the Rush part because I love the band Rush so
Oh
much.
yeah, dude. Yeah. Oh
Are you
yeah.
And
kidding
it's
me?
so
Rush is
Oh
fucking
great.
good.
man. All
Rush is
right.
great.
God damn
I'm
it. All right.
I'm buying Ready Player One tomorrow, and I'm going to see Shin Godzilla tomorrow.
Do it.
You should, man.
Fuck.
That'll make your week. I guarantee it.
Whoa,
Nice.
Stefan,
Right
you
on.
might need to calm down. I'm just saying.
I can't calm down. Calming down is not in my fucking DNA.
It's not an option,
Not an
baby.
option.
I'm too damn excited.
Jonathan,
Yes.
did you read Armada?
I didn't read Armada. I was hesitant because I don't normally pay attention to reviews because I everything's always, if it's good to me then I like it. It's fine. I don't care what people say. But I just heard like that it was kind of just it wasn't as captivating, I guess, as Ready Player
Yeah.
One. He kind of goes through the same like tropes and the same things as he did in Ready Player One. It's like that's just what I heard. But I have
Yeah.
yet to experience that for myself though.
I read it. I like got the signed autograph version. Went and saw him speak and stuff, and he's a great speaker. He like can talk about fucking like any pop culture thing and like his favorite like Buckaroo Banzai is like one of his favorite films. It's great. He's a great
Wow.
dude to talk
Yes.
to. It's wonderful and I remember I got up there. I was like, "What's your favorite non-classic Rush album?" And he was like, "Dude, I can't even tell you. I love them all." Like it was great. It was a great
Yes.
conversation we had. But uh, I did not like. I like it, but I like for his next book, he's got to get out of this pop culture thing. Like I love it. I love all his references because the inner geek in me is like, yes, I get all of these. I know all of them. But yeah, like I was just like, it's not as good as Ready Player One. Like that's his like breakout, and that's
Yeah,
the biggest thing.
agreed.
Like always with your follow up anything, I feel like either album, film, book, it's like it can either be good or bad. And this isn't good or bad. It's just kind of like middle of the road. It's like it's like The Last Starfighter, kind of.
Nice.
And like that's pretty cool about it. But it's like, like you'll read that book and go, oh yeah, you remember when you did it better in Ready Player One?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like I was just wondering if you'd read it because like I'm a fan. I'll read anything he puts out at this point just because.
It was funny because I looked up after I read the book. I looked up his Amazon. I looked up on Amazon like other things he had done or his other works, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm Armada." But I immediately wanted to know what else he was doing.
Yeah, he actually wrote the script for that film Fanboys, where they go to see episode one.
No shit.
Oh, no way!
Yeah,
I love
So,
fanboys.
Did not know that.
yeah, he was talking. He was telling a story about how many incarnations that script went through, and like he was just like, I don't even know what. Like he's like, I like the film, but that's not the film I wrote. And he's
Right.
just like,
Yeah,
I don't
totally.
even know. Like he's like, and then he kind of like it kind of dissuaded him from being like a. Like a script writer. He just was like, I got a story to tell. It's Ready Player One, and I just like need to write it. And like a lot of friends, and it was like, I think his wife was just like, you got to do it. Just fucking write it. Like he's like, I'll never see this movie made. He's like, you can't get Godzilla and Ultraman in the same universe in America. That's like never gonna happen. All those rights and shit and blah blah blah.
Well, oh man, I really hope that they do because they'd be missing an opportunity if they didn't.
Well, the thing is, I think they have the best director for this film. If anyone can get anything he wants, it's Steven Spielberg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
That's true, and
Spielberg's like, I need Ultraman. Get me Ultraman. People
Wait.
will make that shit happen.
what's interesting too
Yes,
is
that's
that
true.
Warner Brothers is the distributor for this
Yes.
movie, and Warner Brothers is also the distributor for the legendary Godzilla series. So they have a relationship with Toho. They could get it done if they wanted to. And Subaraya would love, I'm sure, for their character, Subaraya, who is the creator of Ultraman. I'm sure they would love to have that on the mainstream. So I'm sidetracking real quick, but this connects the Godzilla universe and the Ultraman universe. The famous and original special effects director for all the early Godzilla movies. We're talking the original. He also did some other big special effects films in Japan at that time. He was highly regarded as the father of special effects in Japan. Like he's the guy who did all the early Godzilla movies. He created Ultraman and Subaraya Productions, which then was created that franchise. So Godzilla, that's how they're connected. Is Eiji Tsuburaya, who is this visual effects, or I should say the special effects master on the Godzilla franchise, created Ultraman. That's how that connects.
I'm just excited to see like the first trailer or teaser trailer, whatever, for Ready Player One. Just to
Should
see
be
what
interesting, yeah.
it's gonna be. I mean, like Stefan and Andrew and like anyone else who consistently talks on this podcast, like you guys, you have to read this book. It's like everything we talk about every day on this
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
Every
All
single
right.
day. What we fucking geek out about, this book is about. It's like it was written for us.
Yeah,
like,
I'm gonna get to it, Maddie. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, dude, it's so great. Like I kind of just like want to bring my copy and just be like, Andrew, here.
You should.
He's like, how can I get this back to you? Don't worry about it. And I just pat you on your head. It's like I need people to read this book, like, because people are like, Maddie, you'll love this, and I was like, I don't know, and they're like, a friend came up to me, he's like, Maddie, there's a section about Rush, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And then I ran to like our bookshelf and pulled it off and was like, all right, I'm in.
That's pretty much where
So,
you sold me was fucking Rush.
well, dude, like I was like, okay, so like they're gonna talk about an
Living in
album.
the fish
Well,
islands.
I was like, oh, they're gonna talk about a Rush album, and that'll be fine. That'll be fun. And there'll be other stuff that
It's
happens.
like a whole
But there's
section.
literally there's a whole
Oh.
fucking there's a part of this quest this kid has to go on and has to complete based on Rush. It
You
is
know, honestly,
fucking
that's
great.
like the most heartwarming thing I've ever heard in my life.
Dude,
It's
like,
like
I
that makes me feel
remember,
so good.
so I was working at Half Price Books, and a lot of people who read it were like, "Do you think Rush will let him use like the song and like everything?" I
Oh
was
my
like,
god.
why wouldn't they? Like they're
Wait,
fucking
what songs?
sci-fi geeks as fuck. I'm not telling you. You got to read that motherfucking
Ah!
Yeah, yeah, gotta read it.
Rush gets
Yeah.
me hard.
book, dude.
God damn it! I'm pissed that I haven't
I
read
was
it
going
yet.
through my records the other day, and I was like going through like my old, like I have it spaced out between like kind of newer stuff and then like my older stuff with like my Bowie and like my Rush and my Springsteen. And I was like, do I really need these Rush albums? I was going through and like reading liner notes, then I put some on. I was like, I can't get rid of this. It's too fucking good. But yeah, man.
Rush.
Dude, I can't. That film is gonna like if it's done correctly, it's gonna
Yeah,
be fucking
it has to be.
mind-blowing.
Yeah, it has to be done the right way for sure.
Yeah.
Spielberg
think
hasn't been
great.
like relevant lately either. I feel like. I mean, he had that Bridge of Spies that came and went out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like Spielberg's not really a household name. Like I wonder
Yeah.
if the younger millennials even know who the fuck he is.
This
Like
is
I think
gonna
he's
be the
gonna come
movie,
back
man.
in a huge way with this movie.
Dude, this is gonna be the movie that like for people who were like, you know, like I don't know, they're just like, who Spielberg? What Jaws? What? It's just gonna be like, you know, like
Yeah,
this is
that'd be
gonna
really
like,
great.
Hey, it's gonna be like you're gonna be like, oh yeah, Steven Spielberg, and they're gonna be like, oh, Ready Player One, and it's like, fuck you. But yes,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
why.
Not E.T. or like yeah.
Yeah,
Jurassic
nothing
Park.
I grew up
Close
with.
Encounters, Jurassic Park.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say Poltergeist just cause he directed half of that sort of.
I mean, Saving Private Ryan was probably his last big hit, wasn't it?
Minority Report was pretty
Oh,
big-ish,
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Minority
yeah.
Report was good. Catch Me If You Can did pretty well.
Oh,
Oh,
that
okay.
was great.
That
Yeah.
one's
Okay.
good.
I'm off. Yeah, there was a few
Same
after
year.
But like,
that.
there's
Catch
really-
Me If You Can is
Yeah.
brilliant.
I love it. Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't
thought
see
it was
Bridge
great.
of Spies. I wanted to. Just
You know,
heard it
Bridge of
was good.
Spies. It was good. I liked it. You know, it wasn't like wow, Steven Spielberg's back, but you know, it was a solid movie.
I think it's like Ready Player One is the exact movie to bring Spielberg back into like science fiction again.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like getting back to like you know like Close Encounters, like Minority Report, and all that kind of stuff. War of the Worlds. I don't know. Like I saw a recent like there was an article on something on Facebook that was talking about how good his War of the Worlds was. I never read it though, because I was just like, it's all right, but I don't know.
I liked War of the Worlds, but I liked it because of how they took the disaster approach to it. You know, they instead of like showing us a third perspective on how this would play out, it just focuses on one family, which to me kind of made it more terrifying
Yeah.
because you're like this is so much bigger than them that they can handle, and it's just like what would you do like in that situation, you know?
Yeah. I think
This
my
is-
favorite part of that film is the whole Tim Robbins part. Like,
Yeah.
I love all that, like, just that thing. Like, anytime you read, like, a disaster movie or, like, post-apocalyptic, there's always that scene.
There's always that
Done so
weird,
well. Yeah, there's always that weird dude that's like, can't you just chill the fuck out, guy? Like,
right?
Come on, we'll get through it. And he's like, no, I'm going to be fucking crazy. And it's like,
What movie? War of the Worlds?
yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Oh man.
This was a great
That's a
chat.
good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like an episode unto itself right there.
I
Yeah.
know, man. I'm thinking of splitting these actually.
Gojira.
Should I- yeah.
I would say once we've all seen Shin Godzilla, maybe we should have like another grouping of the same people, and invite other folk, but like actually be able to talk about it. Because I would love to just like say the things I loved about it, but I haven't seen it yet. So
Legit
Yeah.
shit.
Jonathan, we got to
Yeah.
get Mark on because I think he would be good for the podcast too.
Of course, yeah. Oh, yeah, totally.
He's a total like. It was interesting talking to Mark because he was like the biggest Iron Fist fan.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's like an expert on it, but like that was like one of his top Marvel guys. So at least when next March comes around, at least I'd like to see his take on the Netflix series.
Right. He
At least
from
get
what
his
I've
ass on then.
yeah, I think he could go on for hours about those shows like Daredevil and Luke
Hmm.
Cage and all those.
Cool.
I admittedly need to I need to finish Daredevil and I need to continue. I liked it a lot. I just didn't. There's too much going on, man. There's too many things, too many shows.
Oh,
Got
I
too
Woo!
get
many
it.
shows. Whew.
Woo!
It's been good, man. Actually, we were actually going to get to talking about Luke Cage later on in this podcast as well.
Ha!
Hell
Nice.
yeah.
Um,
I got some
but
choice things to say about my man Luke Cage.
man, it's been good though. You definitely need to watch all of those.
Yeah, I know.
They are good. The only one I haven't finished is Jessica Jones
Oh, I finished
because
them all at this
because
point.
because I'm a sexist.
They've all been good, and I
They've all
think
been
Jessica
good.
Jones and Luke Cage started off a little slow,
Yeah,
but when it picks up, it's like it's so good. It's just like you gotta watch the next one.
Right.
cool. I'm gonna start that shit up right now. Just kidding.
Time to make another drink, right?
Yeah. Oh, in due time. I'm still
Oh,
working on
in
this.
due time.
The last drink I poured a lot of whiskey in there.
Did we want to move on to going into Rogue One or Luke Cage or Maddie's music or what's next, guys?
Well, let's go with current events. I'm down to talk about Rogue One. We were just talking about Gareth Edwards.
That's true, yeah. So this is the final trailer, right?
Yes, I think for the release.
For Rogue One, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Other
Yeah.
than like TV spots, that I guess those don't
yeah.
count these days.
Fuck a
but,
TV spot, man.
Fuck
That's for
a
I
TV
usually-
dummies.
spot.
I usually don't watch them actually because I'm already
I
like
hate that.
too into it. But I mean, I thought it was fucking great. Loving the tone. I'm calling it right now. Everybody's gonna die. I think most of the main cast is gonna die in this one. Why?
Yeah, well,
Because
duh.
it doesn't have to connect with anything else.
Right, it's the United 93 of Star Wars movies.
Yes, and it adds much more gravitas to the film in general. To a Star Wars film. So like we're in for like the darkest, but maybe one of the best Star Wars films. Maybe my expectations are too high, but it looks
Shit.
fucking great.
Shit. Can I go next?
Go ahead.
I just by the trailers, and I know it's easy to say this after the fact, but I think it looks better than Force Awakens. You know,
Yeah.
I know, like Force Awakens has to play certain, like hit certain bases. You know what I mean, in order to reinvent the mythos. And without Force Awakens, you know, most people probably would think that Rogue One is just like a B movie, kind of like cash grab or whatever. However, there was something I said when the first trailer came out about like the tropical setting of a certain planet or whatever, this and that, and us speculating on whether or not that was just like, you know, the set and maybe things will look different. I'm really happy to see that tropical environment is prevalent. I don't think we've ever really seen anything like that in a Star Wars movie yet. So it's really cool to see just like kind of a change of scenery for what we're used to with Star Wars films. Overall, it looks so good. It looks darker than any Star Wars film than I think we've seen. Things that have been hinted at maybe in the expanded universe and novels and stuff like that. But, you know, it shares parallels with Rebels going on right now. And Rebels is definitely geared towards kids, but it's very militaristic. And
So
and
good.
Rogue, yeah, so good. And Rogue One is kind of, you know, it's on that ground level. And this trailer was just like, introducing Mads Mikkelsen as the father, and I forgot the other dude's name, but
Ben Mendelsohn.
Oh,
Ben
dude,
Mendelsohn,
I love
and
that motherfucker
like
so much.
for me, what really made it with this trailer is the details, like the costuming. You know how they have like the rain slicker kind of like Empire costuming, and then it differs other scenes, you know, and just like the moments are so good. I really hope. You know, I loved the 2014 Godzilla, and Monsters I wasn't a huge fan of. But, you know, I mean, this is Star Wars. I'm sure he had some coaching going on, but Gareth Edwards, I think, there's this moment in time now that he's able to capture with this darker Star Wars film. And it's just like, it's feeding, where Force Awakens fed into like the child and the nostalgia, the member berries.
Yeah.
Rogue One is starting to expand on, it's growing up with us. It's growing up with, um, it's growing up with those fans that were fans since the '70s. Like they really haven't had their comeuppance just yet because the prequels were such a mishmash of emotions and whatever you want to call it. But um, this movie just seems so refreshing within the Star Wars universe. I don't think we've ever had anything like this outside of books and graphic novels and stuff. It looks amazing.
It's like
I'll
now
shut.
they feel like they can take more of a risk because
Yeah,
they've secured with
yeah,
Force Awakens the next, 10 fucking years of Star
yeah.
Wars. So it's like, yeah, let's throw this one out there in between two big ones. Let's see what happens.
Let me just say my favorite moments of this trailer, right at the beginning after she wakes up from that flashback, just seeing the stormtrooper walk across or walk in front of the cell that she's in, just for that split second, then it cuts away, was so good. And this movie's about the Empire. This shit is about the oppression of the Empire. Something we haven't seen. So
Man, when they're talking about like we got to rise up, it's the resistance.
yeah,
I'm like fucking hell yeah, let's do this shit, man. I'm fucking ready, dude.
yeah. It's we've outside of seeing planets being destroyed, we haven't seen the death grip that the Empire has had on like the day to day people who have to deal with it or whatever. My other two favorite moments are there's a moment where she's talking about like all rebellions are built on hope or whatever like that. Donnie Yen's character when he stamps his stick or whatever on the ground in the ship they're in, and
Yeah.
he makes that really like gracious, like grateful expression on his face, like preach on, sister. You know what I mean? Like that moment was really good. And then there was one more that I really wanted to point out that I'm forgetting. It was all good, man. I'm so excited. I'll shut up. Go ahead.
Maddie.
Oh, well, fuck. I think you guys know what I'm gonna say. Like the thing with like when Stefan said it looks better than Force Awakens. Like the thing is, I really fucking love Sith and Jedi shit so much. Like
Yeah.
that, I love it so much. But I'm ready for this story to happen. Like I've been waiting to see this. Like I've read, like Stefan was saying, I've read it. I've seen it in graphic novels. I've seen other like I'm ready to see this in the to see this on the big screen. Like this be the definitive. Like this is how the plans were stolen. These are the people who did it. See, finally getting to see like Vader in something. Like I've also like read that like his scenes are pretty brutal in it. So I'm pretty excited to see like how much Vader will actually get in this. Just to see a different take on Vader, because I mean like the only real Vader we have outside like I mean I've watched a lot of like season 2 of Rebels, so I get to see a pretty cool Vader. But like on like going to the movies and stuff, this is gonna be. I'm pretty excited just to see like how brutal Vader will be at this point.
Hmm.
Because like when we meet him in A New Hope, he's pretty much torn through like that trilogy of films. Like he's still pretty badass, but like his kids are coming back around, and so
I mean,
I
this
don't
is.
know. Like Ben
This,
Middles, Ben Middles.
sorry.
Go ahead, you can.
I just want to say this story is like the apex of the empirical
Yeah,
rule. You know what I mean?
like
And it's
this
like
is.
yeah.
Well, it's like Vader at his worst,
Hmm.
like when he becomes
Hmm.
Vader, like this is still him being like full on like I've read comics of like this Vader and I'm like, fuck man, no one can survive. Everyone fucking dies. So like it'll be really interesting to see that. I think the cast looks great. Ben Middleton I'm really excited for just because he's such a shithead in everything I've seen him in. Like he can play that character so fucking well. Like I'm just excited to see. I also
Yeah.
hope with Rebels going on, and I know Rebels has introduced Thrawn, which is like one of my favorite villains in the Star Wars like expanded universe. And if you haven't read like Timothy Zahn's like run, this trilogy of books with Thrawn in them, it's great. For those who don't know Thrawn is like the last ditch effort by the Empire because the Emperor was not a fan of alien races. If you notice throughout all of the films, it's all humans. Thrawn is the only alien he actually ever put into his like command, and he is the last ditch effort to save the Empire. So throughout this series of books, he's just like a super smart motherfucker. Like he's like one step ahead of Luke. He's a step ahead of everyone, and it's just like it's he's one of those villains that's infuriating to watch because he's so fucking smart. And you're like, God, I just can't wait till you get your end. I cannot wait, you know. And I'm hoping that I get a little bit of that in like Ben Mendelsohn's character in this one. Like we get like a good villain who's just like, I cannot wait for you to die. You know.
It seems like visually they're playing on a lot of the Thrawn imagery. What there is, the paintings and whatnot.
Yeah, and I'm super excited for this. I mean, honestly, I think everyone here knows I'm a super fan of fucking Star Wars, and any film any film they're gonna release from this point on is like, fuck yeah, I'll be there. Like even if I don't even like the casting or think it's correct, I'm like, man, you're gonna go see the Star Wars film? Did you say Star Wars film? Fuck yeah!
Oh hell yeah, dude! Like, I mean, and imagine like a few years ago, you wouldn't have been saying that at all. Like you'd have been like, yeah, I'm gonna see it, but I'm, Anyway, go ahead.
No, like that's the thing. Like if it's Star Wars, I'm gonna see it. Someone came to me, like I was working at a half price bookstore, like, Maddie, you know what the new Star Wars thing is? You realize you're not gonna get to see all the Star Wars films, and I was like, what do you mean? It's like he's like, there will be Star Wars films once you're gone from this earth. And I went,
that makes
fuck
sense.
you, I'm living forever. Fuck you. I got so upset that I realized at that point that I will be dead at some point and I will not be able to see Star Wars films. I got really upset.
It's like death did not upset you until you heard
until
that.
Like there's going to be little shits running around, probably my children, fucking seeing these Star Wars films I can't see.
It's
Fuck you, son.
It's a hard thing to grasp.
Dude, like it never hit me till that moment.
I think my entire any religious proclivity I may have and my entire spiritual body is tied to fucking Star Wars.
I'll tell you this right now. If in the Bible it said, when you go to heaven, you can watch all the Star Wars films, I'd be Christian as fuck. I'd be the best Christian. Stop drinking, stop cursing, stop sleeping. I'd be married by now. Fuck.
Girl, we gotta get married.
Yeah, basically. We're not having sex until we're married, young lady.
Dude, how about that? How about that Forrest Whitaker in Rogue One? That's like, I got a standing ovation for just that performance alone.
He looks great. Yeah, he was
Don't give up the dream. Don't give up hope. Like. That shit was so good, man.
It's gonna be such a fucking ride, like emotional ride. This film, man.
There wasn't even the call sign, even the title, fucking.
Yes, I love that.
It wasn't cheesy. Like none of it was cheesy. Like the pacing, it's really the timing of everything. The pacing of the edit of the trailer, let alone the performance of the actors. You know what I mean? Like it plays out. It's like such a nice, beautiful orchestration of stuff like we're expecting, stuff we're speculating on, and stuff we have no possible idea.
Yeah, dude,
so good.
Fuck,
Jonathan, what'd you think, man?
Don't give up hope.
Well, I will admit that Star Wars isn't really in my wheelhouse. However, I do like the movies. I am entertained by them, and I do like Star Wars. But I'm very excited for Rogue One. I thought that it looked very grounded. It's the first look at like the military aspect to me of how in that universe, rather than like, showing the Jedi aspect in that singular thing. I really can't wait to see what's going to happen. The trailers have been really well done.
Yeah.
That's the number one step in getting people hyped. So in that sense, they've done a really good job with the trailers. Let's say, God forbid, the movie is not as good, then people should be given those trailer Academy Awards. But I think it's going to be really good.
Oh I was just like, don't even say it. Don't even put that out there.
You gotta have faith. That's what they're telling you. That's what Forrest Whitaker's telling you. You gotta have faith.
You got to believe.
You got to believe. Don't give up the dream.
Yeah,
like fuck, dude.
Yeah, he's so good. He's gonna be in Black Panther too.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
he's the fucking man, dude. Forrest Whitaker's my boy.
Ghost Dog.
Yeah.
Ghost dog.
I'll say one thing they have going for them, and this is good for Gareth Edwards in this regard, is that the cast that he has to work with in this movie. I mean, geez,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, how can it
Excellent.
not be? How can it not be good? You know what I mean? Like,
It,
there's no way.
I also love that the cast
Oh
isn't
my
like
god.
it's not well known. Like
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to like the
Felicity
normal
Jones.
movie, the normal moviegoer, it's not known. Like I love Ben Mendelsohn, Bloodline.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he's
haven't
great.
seen Animal Kingdom, but like I can't even think of movies right now. I've been drinking since we started talking, so. But like his role in Bloodline season one, he's like when I watched season two of Bloodline, I was like, you know what this show's missing? Ben Mendelsohn. Like why the fuck did they kill that motherfucker off? Spoiler alert. But
Oh.
you got like at this
I
point you're not gonna fucking watch it.
I
Calm
will
down.
watch it. Well,
No,
not
you
second season,
won't.
but
You need to
anyway.
read Ready Player One. But like
Sorry.
it's like him and then it's like Donnie Yen, like, yeah, of course everyone talking on this podcast knows who the
Oh,
fuck Donnie Yen is, but no one else does, you
Donnie Yen's
know?
my other brother
Yeah,
from another
and
mother.
that's I don't like what is his name? Diego Luna?
Yeah, as a Latino American, I'm very pleased to see Diego Luna alongside Jimmy Smits participate in the Star Wars universe.
Oh yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait,
Hell
wait.
fucking yeah.
The pilot dude in Force Awakens is like Guatemalan or something.
You
Hmm.
talking about
Uh,
Oscar Isaacs?
Lewin
Oscar
Davis?
Yeah, yeah. He's at least half Latino, dude.
I
Oscar
like him
Isaacs is
too.
like a
I like
mix
him
of
too.
like many things.
But Diego Luna, here's another thing is like the accent that he has in the film. That's something I think that's really cool. You know, the way that they let Gal Gadot keep her accent for Wonder Woman
Yeah.
and blah blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Diego Luna in a fucking Star Wars movie, like that's some hot. As long as I've been at the length of time that it took me to get my degree and to the point that I am now, wherever I am with filmmaking, Diego Luna as a Mexican actor has been there. Him and Gail Garcia Bernal. That's all that's missing. That motherfucker needs to be an R2 unit. but
They're gonna put him in something. Just wait.
it's so
He'll
fucking
be in
cool.
one
And
of them.
and Forrest Whitaker, again, to reiterate, but back to that same point, to see Forrest Whitaker in a fucking Star Wars movie, like hell fucking yeah. It's like Leo finally winning an Oscar or something. You're just like certain actors, you don't see it coming,
Samuel
but certain,
L.
yeah, Samuel L. Jackson, totally.
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor, like certain actors are just made for this universe for whatever reason. And Forrest Whitaker is reminiscent of Lawrence Fishburne in Predators in kind of a
Dude.
visual way.
Dude.
Hold on, let me make this connection.
Okay.
In kind of a
Okay.
visual way, and kind of in an archetypal kind of way. You know what I mean? And so we've seen
Yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne kind of play that role, but like Forrest Whitaker has this flavor that nobody else has, and for him to be like so much about the diversity of ethnicity in these Star Wars films, but the diversity of character that is starting to show, and in this one, in Rogue One, more than anything, I think like the diversity is really starting to show.
No Indian character yet.
Not just yet. You mean like Dot or Feather?
Dot. Well, both actually,
Well,
but I
we
think
need
they
both.
probably get
Come
to
on.
Dot first.
we need my boy next one to
Wait, say it
come up
again.
on
You
some
broke up
Star
a little
Wars
bit
fame.
there.
We need Dev Patel is
Okay.
the next one to get some Star Wars comeuppance.
Yeah.
That motherfucker would be great in a Star Wars.
I was gonna make the connection between Forrest Whitaker and Lawrence Fishburne because like that was my biggest fear that like
Right.
because in Predators, Lawrence Fishburne's character kind of slows the film down a lot. Like
Yeah.
I enjoy that character. I think it's very fun to watch him like someone who survived this long, or at least the Predators have kept alive for this amount of time for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Which is like unknown, but you can speculate. And I'm just like part of my fear was that like is Fishburne or is fucking shit is
Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker gonna like slow the Star Wars story down, or is he gonna be like is it just gonna be like a natural occurrence in it.
Yeah.
So
Well, the
I
one
have
thing
some
we
reservation about that, but
the one thing I think we know for sure about Forrest Whitaker and this type of character, in pretty much any movie you could name, it's the teacher character. You know, it's like it's the Yoda, it's the Maz Kanata.
yeah.
That's kind of what it seems like he's fulfilling for this. You know, he's the one who has that last bit of information that these rebels need because he's been through the shit. The feat, like him walking, that James Chiang, I think is his name, the production designer, artist, him and some other guy, I forget, but just the worn-in feel that they bring to not only this but Force Awakens and a lot of stuff that we've seen as the expanded universe of Star Wars has developed. Just seeing that person, that hardened character who's been through the shit. It's fucking, to a lesser degree, Nick Nolte in Tropic Thunder. It's like
Yeah.
that same type of character. But anyway, I think just by those few lines alone, I like to consider my like a refined palette of performance. Other people might call that pretentious or whatever. But just in that little line, like don't give up hope, don't give up the dream. It just says, it speaks volumes of, to me anyway, the quality of film that we're hopefully going to get.
No, I mean, I think Predators versus
I'm just so
like
excited.
versus like Rogue One. I think we're gonna get the better
Yeah.
story, better acting, better script writing in Rogue One. But like the parallels between the two, I was just like, when I watched that trailer, I was like, fuck.
You know what? Even when they said that, like, they did the reshoots because the rumor was that there was too much talking in cockpits. I don't know, man. I could take talking in cockpits for a long time. Like a cockpit of an X-wing, like that didn't sound all that bad to me.
No,
like if they're talking about life in general and what it's like to be in the rebellion and fighting the blah blah blah.
That's like every Star Wars novel ever.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
here's where they're lucky is they have the safety net, or the backbone, not safety net, but the backbone of the Force Awakens to work off of.
Yeah.
That's a foundation. Despite what anybody might say, it really is. And Rogue One it's obviously pushing in this darker tone. So in my mind, I guess it's like they can't do any worse than the Force Awakens. You know what I mean? And that's pretty good leg to stand on.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I think Rogue One is kind of getting us ready for the next, like, the second part of this new trilogy.
Yeah, Star Wars 9/11.
Which is like, I don't like to read some of that shit about like the spoilers and like some of the stuff that happens, but man, I read a little bit about like the stuff that's gonna happen with like Luke and Rey, supposedly in Ireland on that island, and I was just like, fucking shit, if this happens, I'm gonna lose my shit in the theater. Like, I'll lose it. Like, bowel movements, it'll be just fucking over, man. Like, I don't even want to tell you guys.
If there's like Yoda style training on the good side, and then you see the other dude, Kylo Ren's Sith training on his side, if there's parallel training montages, it'll be the best Star Wars film of all time.
Dude, I'll just say this: the Knights of Ren show up.
That'd be amazing. Yeah.
Apparently that's like what people know, like what happens in the new Star Wars film, and I think it's going to be a darker film.
Not only that, but Luke fucking issues at this point.
Yeah.
For the kid to just go off with a stranger, and go fight against the Empire, you know what I mean? Like, for him all of a sudden to be hiding and wanting to be hidden and what he's hiding and stuff like that, like all of the good that he has, there's just as much dark. And I think, they talk about Luke being the chosen one and everything. Perhaps it is Luke's the conduit by which the story is being told, our true understanding of the light and dark side, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Rey's so good, you know what I mean? It's so we're gonna get
you could have made a Star.
I can't take it.
He's the chosen one to pass off to the next one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You could have made
he's the essence of the like Luke is the essence of the turmoil
Yeah.
encompassed
The
into one
thing,
individual. Anyway,
the thing is, you could have made a new Star
fuck.
Wars film where the original cast is dead. Like you could have
Right,
summed all that up
right,
in the scrolling text, like Luke Skywalker has passed, blah blah blah. These are his children, blah blah blah. This is Han Solo, blah blah blah. We would have had to read
right.
a little while longer, but none of us would have gave a shit because it's
There,
fucking Star Wars.
there's still so much of the story to be told from that perspective. That's why they've hung on. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
that berries, it's like it's fucking nostalgic to have Luke and see all of them or whatever. But if it wasn't that strong of a hook, like we wouldn't need to
well, I
know that
mean,
part of the story. No, I'm agreeing with you.
no, 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 no. I totally agree. It's just like it's like all the Dark Empire comics and like any of the books I ever read.
Right,
Like Luke is
right,
such an integral part to like what the Force is at this point
yeah.
and what they're trying to
Do
explore in these new trilogies. That it's like you have to have him. Like would I have watched a film where it's just Rey and like fucking Finn and fucking Poe Dameron just like fucking doing shit? Yeah, fuck yeah, I would have watched that. Star Wars would have been fucking amazing. But
yeah.
it's like,
Luke,
like to see Luke come back and like, dude, like, this is all I need to see in the new, like, after Rogue One.
that's the thing.
I just need
After
to see the best fucking Jedi shit I've ever seen on film.
after
Like,
two
I
decades.
need to see people force push. Oh, dude, I need so much.
Yeah, yeah.
But
It's all that's. I mean, the thing about Rogue One, just even talking about like we need a call sign or whatever.
You're breaking
And
up again a little bit, dude.
oh, I'm sorry. The Death Star.
Connection to be reestablished. Man. Okay.
Ah, shit.
Okay. I'm hearing you again now. Okay.
Hey,
Maddie, can you hear
just
me?
keep moving forward.
yeah, I can hear you.
I was gonna ramble on about some shit, but how about that Jyn Erso?
Yeah, right.
That's my girl, man. I'm gonna move to Hollywood and find
Jane
her.
Arso, who's that?
Or she's the main character. I forgot her name.
Felicity Jones?
Jyn Erso. Yeah, Felicity Jones.
I
She's
only
in,
know her by her character name.
Mother. Holy mother.
She's in
That's awesome.
Stephen Hawking film, Theory of Everything.
Yeah. In that
Oh,
movie.
Felicity Jones, yeah.
Yeah, she's amazing. And then, I mean, now she's in a Star Wars.
Well,
Hey,
it's all good
I
shit.
think this is a good point to let Jonathan go. He's kind of been hanging out for a bit. Sorry about that, dude.
No, that's for some reason I had told some people I was like, oh yeah, it should be like an hour or so, like. But
Well,
it's great though. I've had such a good time
Yeah.
talking with you guys.
You were vibing so well. I kind of felt wrong to like cut you off.
No,
So
it's no.
yeah,
It's
so
totally
I didn't know
fine.
like where to draw the lines, but yeah, thanks for coming on. This has
Thanks
been
for having me.
the first segment from our senior Godzilla correspondent, Jonathan Portman.
Dude, honestly, guys, thanks for having me so much.
Hell yeah.
I really get to vet about my love for this stuff to, other than my friends and people, but, if you're going to have the subject on this matter, then I appreciate that you had me on here. I would
we
say
will.
one more thing I would like to add real quick before I go. I just wanted to throw out some recommendations.
Okay.
real quick.
Yeah.
For either first time Godzilla people or like either even you guys who like aren't that familiar with the franchise as a whole. I'm gonna list some movies in order and just have at it the really good examples of like good Godzilla movies. All right, so Gojira, Mothra versus Godzilla, Invasion of the Astro Monster, or otherwise known as Godzilla versus Monster Zero. Destroy All Monsters, The Return of Godzilla, or Godzilla 1985, Godzilla vs. Biollante, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, Godzilla vs. Destroya, GMK, which is short for Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack. That one's really good. And that's a more modern one. That one was done like back in 2001.
Oh shit. Okay.
Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, Godzilla X Mothra X Mechagodzilla Tokyo SOS, or just Godzilla Tokyo SOS, and that's it. Well, that's at least the ones that I recommend.
Yeah.
for the
I've always
viewer.
been a fan of Mecha Godzilla.
Mechagodzilla is
Thanks
great.
for. I
Yeah.
like robots, man. I like the fucking robot Ninja Turtle too that they had back
Me
in the
too.
day.
The
Oh yeah,
fucking
totally.
metalhead.
Metalhead, dude. Yeah, it's fucking
Yep.
great. All
Yep.
right. Well, dude, I'm gonna let you. We're gonna let you go because you have plans and shit. Don't want to keep you all night, so we will definitely have you on again. The vibe was
Awesome.
good.
Yeah, guys. Same here. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Check you later,
I
The
do.
bro.
force
Take
be
care.
with you.
Later.
Yo, I'm gonna take a pee break.
All right.
Oh, dude, I need to do that too. Whew.
Hey, we've been going for a long time, so you want to do Luke Cage or Maddie's music, like just one more, and then kind of call it.
Um,
Maddie,
I,
what do you
I
want to
mean,
do?
if you guys got shit to do, then that's cool. But I got nothing. I'm watching. I got Predators on in the background, so I
Well,
mean, we could do a quick music because I only listened to it once, and then we
okay.
could go into Luke Cage because I
Let's
feel
do
like
that and just go from there.
okay, I'm gonna take a pee break, but
Yeah, I gotta take a little break too. Hold on one second.
And we're back. Is Maddie still peeing?
Yeah, I think so. She'll be back soon.
yeah, I'm still peeing.
Ow!
That time you peed and you didn't know that we could all hear.
Yeah,
That shit was so funny, man.
I mean,
Superhouse
I'll do it. I'll do
classic.
it again. It'll be the season finale. There'll be pee breaks.
We should cut together a best of Superhouse.
By the
Man,
way,
we should, but fuck, that would be so much work to go through like hour-long
dude.
episodes.
You know it'd be so hard.
No, I don't even want you to do that, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. If you want to, Stefan, feel free, man.
Someday, 25th anniversary Superhouse show.
Oh man, so we want to do a little Maddie's music and then
Yeah.
Luke Cage, and then we'll just kind of feel the where we're at that point.
All right. I'm ready. This is Maddie's music, but Andrew, take it away because you know this band better than I.
Yeah, so the story behind this was Maddie just didn't have an idea for this week, so I was like, fuck it, let's do "Sons of Northern Darkness" by the band Immortal. And this is like
Good.
the
That's a good
only,
scream.
not the only, but it's like my favorite black metal band, and that's because I don't listen to black metal that much.
Yeah.
And I first heard about this band again from these metal dudes I knew at SCAD named Brooks and Andy, and mainly Brooks actually for this one.
Tools, not Brooks.
Yeah, but again, I'm a layman, but he said that like even though they're a three-piece, like musically they're incredible and all that. So I was like, shit, I'll give it a listen. And when I first listened to him, it was like almost too evil, like I couldn't take it. But now I've grown more evil in my life, so I can take it. And it's it's like I like it more than I ever have, especially those two tracks. Sons, no wait, One by One, the first track, and In My Kingdom Cold.
Oh
And
yeah, that's good.
Tyrants is good too, but I mean, when that fucking really like fast part hits in One by One, like I don't know, if you're a metalhead, you're pretty much down. I feel like
Yeah.
that's like
Mhm.
it feels like you're swiping away at orcs in an elven forest, or you are the orc and you're killing elves. Like you're just fucking. It's a massacre, is what it feels like.
More
And the
than likely,
songs,
you're desecrating elves.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. And like it's called One by One. It's about killing somebody one by one. Like I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
they're talking about evil
Yeah,
Vikings or something.
I'm probably talking about Christians. To
Maybe,
be
yeah.
honest,
Yeah, right. I mean, Abath is like a famous figure in the black metal
yeah,
scene.
yeah.
Apparently, I don't know. It seemed like they started corpse makeup. I'm not sure
Uh,
about that.
There's at
Immortal
least
Immortal is more like within their early marketing, I guess you could say, or their early press type of stuff. Um, they kind of yeah, I guess they kind of
it's
started
really
that.
well produced for like a black metal album.
Yeah,
Right,
From what
right,
I
right.
gathered from it, like if you listen to like Mayhem, like early fucking black metal shit,
yeah,
or like Burzum or like fucking Dark Throne early shit, like it doesn't sound this fucking good.
yeah.
Like
That's
it's
true.
very like
It's raw. It's like it's almost like you were saying, Andrew, like too evil
Right,
at that
right,
point
right.
because you realize it's these fucking uh, anti-Christian, anti-mythologist kind of young people. It's a really violent origin,
yeah,
just in the sound alone. You know what I mean? And so this album, what's cool about this album, and then or like Immortal, the big epic sound that they're able to get, just being this like three piece. It has that same cacophonous rawness. Like they're boys, they got street cred, just like Mayhem or fucking Darkthrone or whoever.
yeah,
Um, but they, this was one of the earlier bands. This is one of the bands that influenced like Enslaved and At the Gates and shit. So this is where they're pushing into like, the music can be evil and get you that black metal street cred here in Sweden or whatever, like whatever it is that you need to be like hard as fuck, evil as fuck. Um, but it can also be like some epic, like good music, like well orchestrated expressions of fucking what these dudes go through. They're so unique in their sound.
Yeah, the Wikipedia said that it reached 58th place in Germany at one point, which 58th kind of low, but it's still black metal. Like this
Yeah,
is like pretty
especially
big.
especially considering that most of those motherfuckers are listening to like no name like house DJs and shit, like
Yeah,
one
yeah,
after
yeah.
the other. Like that's pretty good. Um,
Yeah. Power
and
metal is pretty big in Germany too, apparently.
mm-hmm. And there's a lot of there's like this, there's a split somewhere with Immortal. They have like that, not so much power metal. They have like a very triumphant sound. It's a very like kind of like war based kind of attitude.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
but they also, this is like pre Gothenburg style Norse metal. But they also push on those boundaries of like taking you somewhere, in an auditory kind of way. There's like an adventure, there's a story to be told with their sound that you really hear in, I don't know how many of their other albums, but this one specifically, I don't know.
I think also like the part of it like that you can kind of take the evilness of it is because like there's a tinge of them parodying themselves. I feel
Yeah.
like they're not really 100% serious. You know
It
what I
depends.
mean?
It depends on who around. You know what I mean? Like it depends on who with. Like,
Yeah, I mean you got like that one lyric where he's like, "And here we go again," like that
yeah,
lyric.
yeah,
That lyric is like uh kind of almost funny, you know?
yeah. I see what you mean.
yeah.
But
Yeah, but
anybody who was fucking worshiping Mayhem at the time was like, couldn't wait for a chance to like slit their wrists or kill somebody.
Right. I mean, as evil as this music sounds, I don't think it's quite as dark as Mayhem or Venom or
Right,
any of
right,
that,
yeah,
or
totally.
Gorgoroth. They're just kind of like having a little bit of fun with it. I feel like I could be wrong. I mean, they're probably playing it off really well, but I think they're just kind of like want to get drunk and put on
Yeah,
makeup. You know what I
and
mean? Like,
Yeah. Well,
and
there's
for
some.
that, sorry, and for that reason, it's really good metal. Like for that reason, it's good music.
right, right, right.
Well, I mean, there's even in like the song "In My Kingdom Cold," they like reference like H.P. Lovecraft like writings, like
Hmm.
he says at the Mountains of Madness, and like I feel like that's
Yeah,
playing into like all this other like kind of demonic or stuff that happens. And but yeah, anyway, like In the Kingdom Cold is like my probably my favorite track. I listened to it twice by accident, and Antarctica is also really good.
That is a good one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, I feel like this album, like for me anyway, like I'm coming off of like listening to like Burzum and Mayhem and like a lot of Dark Throne, where it's like it was more about getting like the particular sound or like the just like it felt like maybe the beginnings of like punk rock, like where they just had to get this shit out. It didn't have to be good, but it's like they have to express themselves in this kind of way. And I felt like Immortal um, is like the overproduced version of it. It's like it's got hooks, it's got catches, it's got really great guitar parts. It all kind
yeah,
of flows really well. And if you listen to a lot of early Mayhem, it's just like that drum beat is just that like fucking blast over and
yeah,
over again, man. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, oh my God, you need to like calm the fuck down, man. And like fucking like get a hook in there or some shit,
yeah,
And that's like a lot of early punk is that way too, like where it's just like unrelenting till the song's over. And like I
Right.
appreciate that
yeah,
stuff, but like Immortal to me was like kind of how like if I'm on like a Dark Throne or like a fucking like a Mayhem kick, I'm like, oh my God, I need a break. I need something to like chill me out and just have like a
yeah,
chorus and a verse. But that's what I liked about it. I also drew a lot of comparisons to like Atreyu's The Curse, which is a really like fucking overproduced like metalcore record, which I don't really like anything else Atreyu did except this one album because it's so overproduced
mhm.
that it just kind of works really well because it's like got the verse, chorus, hook, like screaming slash vocals. And that's the way I felt about listening to this Immortal record. To me, it was just like, if you need, like, if someone's like, I want to get into black metal, I'd go, listen to this. Because that's going to get you into it. And it's like, how far do you want to go? Like, backwards and listen to the shit that's like really intense and unrelenting? Or do you want to get into more of this shit that is going to give you a more verse, chorus, like with some hooks in there to like get you like fucking headbanging and fucking like grooving to it. Because like Stefan and I know like a lot of metal, it's kind of hard to find that groove in some of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like this Immortal
Right.
record
And
compared
what's
to like the other black metal stuff that's like true to me true black metal. There's like no groove to it. It's like unrelenting force in your face.
Yeah.
And I'm
yeah,
not saying this record's bad by any means. I really enjoyed what I listened to, and I'm gonna listen to it more. It just so happened that like last Sunday, I was seeing this really awesome band called Cult Leader, and then Dillinger Escape Plan released their final record. And there's been so much to listen to, Andrew. It's so hard.
yeah.
No problem, man.
But this what Mortal is like. They fit in the time where a lot of people were emulating that Venom Mayhem sound. The thing about this album is it starts off that way. It has that like blast beat. They let it dissolve after a while. They bring this ugliness to the fore, and then they're like, but we're actually fucking dope musicians. Check out our orchestration.
Yeah.
And they take you down by being a part of that scene at the time and by emulating the sound that probably a lot of other bands emulated, coming up with those guys, being like taking it. One band that comes to mind for me is a band called Ex Mortis. They're kind of like a thrash power black
I
metal
forgot
kind
about
of like.
them.
Oh, they're so good. But this is that same type of thing. When you think of people or you think of certain types of bands in the metal scene, you think about especially this scene as black metal starting to grow, and you see like
bands that just stick out, and they're like, yeah, we do that thing too, but we also do our own thing. And what's great about this album and Immortal in general is that they always kind of toy with that. They play with that because they're still OG fucking black metal dudes. They do that stuff just as well as anybody else, but then they're also like, here's a little bit more. Here's something peppered on the side. Here's this thing here, or this groove here. You know what I mean? So they like meticulous in the way that they play around with their sound, and I think that's what makes it cool. Because to anybody else album first listen, they wouldn't probably be able to discern it from Mayhem or Burzum or whoever.
Yeah, most people are just gonna hate this like straight out the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Interesting side note: the lead singer / bass player Abbott just released an album this year under Abbott.
Yeah.
And I had been.
He just went on tour.
Yeah, I've been listening to that album a little bit, and I really enjoyed it. But just a little side note. But yeah, I enjoyed this album. I need to listen to it more. There was other things that came out and that like got my attention so I should have been listening to this instead of that stuff. But you know, when a band releases the final album, I gotta say I need to listen to it. So I've been paying more attention to other things. But I enjoyed this, and once I get back into the more black metal phase, it'll definitely be on the radar and listen to more.
It's
But
definitely
I
like you got to
recommend
be in
it.
a certain mood for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, listening to like the new Dillinger record versus this is two totally different entities in its own. But yeah, it's good though. I mean, it's fucking good. Like if you're looking for something new and a little extreme, but not too extreme, like Immortal's like something to get you into that fucking black metal scene for sure.
And they probably hate this explanation of the band or whatever, but like they're like a good like beginner black metal band. Like
Oh,
if
dude,
you've been
I
listening to
do
metal
agree.
for a while, this is your introduction right here.
I agree.
I would also add Enslaved.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Just to add along what you were saying, Enslaved.
All right. I haven't listened to them, but I'll give it a listen.
Oh shit, you have not.
I've only
I don't
listened to like
think
one
I've
track maybe or something.
My dude. All right, cool. All right.
I don't
Right.
think I've
All right,
listened
all
to
right.
Enslaved
I'm gonna
either,
say
but
you will not be remiss to enjoy them.
All right.
so I feel like we're done with this. The next Maddie's music. It's gonna be a little weird, guys. Since Dillinger Escape Plan is breaking up and they released their final album, you'd think I would choose that, but I'm not. But you should listen to it, listeners, and Stefan and Andrew, because it's fucking dope as shit.
Cool.
But the lead singer has a new band that he like released an album earlier this year called The Black Queen, and the name of the album is called
Yes.
Fever Daydream. And it features some guys who like
Yes.
have recently been with like Nine Inch Nails and stuff. It's very strange for us and very strange for him. Like if you've ever heard a Dillinger song, you will not expect him to do this. I don't know if I want to give anything away, but it is very much like it's very Depeche Mode inspired.
Okay.
Hold on.
But it's I have to do it because I've fucking fallen in love with this album.
All right.
Like,
Hold on.
I listen to this and then I go back to like the new Dillinger album. But what am I holding on for?
Hold on.
Yeah, what's this all about?
Are you gonna play a song or like what are you trying to sprout on me?
First of all, I didn't Queen was dude from Dillinger Escape Plan.
Yeah, he's the vocalist. And he
Second
plays
of
some
all,
guitar.
Ice to Never is one of the best fucking revival
Dude,
electro songs ever made, dude. Ice
it
to
is
Never.
fucking dope.
Ah!
That album is
All right,
so
I'm all
good.
I'm all about this shit.
Dude,
Hold
I
on.
fucking
I'm all
this
about
is the
this
best
shit.
Maddie's music ever by
Shit.
far.
The Black
I've
Queen.
never listened to it
The
at
Black
all,
Queen's
so-
cool. The Black Queen's cool. The full length album is good, but I've only listened to it once. I'm very excited about
Dude,
this.
I've been listening to it like since I found out that like because I listened to. Sorry to sidetrack Andrew's Immortal. It's a
Fuck
great
yeah.
record. Listen
Don't
to
worry
it.
about it, man.
So I saw Dillinger Escape Plan play at Riot Fest, and it's probably one of the best shows I've seen in a while. It's fucking great. Those
I had
guys
no
are fucking
idea.
crazy. I'd say they're on their last tour right now. I know the band Cult Leader, which I also fucking love, and I just saw them at a very
Oh, yeah.
small club last Sunday. And though, like, if like when we talk about like metal, and we're like, this shit's fucking evil. The fucking vocalist for Cult Leader is like the messenger of Satan. Like, because when you listen to his growls, you're like, there's no way he can do that live. But this motherfucker's like, dude, he's a tiny motherfucker. And like the vocals that come out of him are just fucking satanic. Like, it's like, it was such a good
What
fucking show.
should I
Like,
start with?
what album of Cult Leader?
Yeah.
Just start with Lightless Walk.
Alright,
It's
cool.
like their full length. It's like a 10 track, maybe 11 track album. The other one before that's like 6 tracks, but it's just like fucking, oh dude, it's so good. Like, I almost want to do that. Like, I want to put like 3 albums on the next Maddie's Music and be like, fucking listen to them. Like, we gotta. Like, this is like shit we need to know. But those guys just fucking like, what the fuck was that?
Some static happened.
Yeah. But that show was fucking great. It was really tiny. Also, another band, just off the top, the Black Antler are from Columbus, Ohio. They're pretty solid, fucking like hardcore group. Check that. Jesus Christ, what the fuck is going
Stefan,
on?
man, you're doing some crazy shit.
I'm sorry, my earplug fell out. I couldn't get it. I couldn't grab it in my hands. And,
All right.
you know how things
But
go. I'm sorry.
all right.
Do you guys ever listen to Trap Them?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have, yeah.
Yeah, like Cult Leader, the Black Antler, both fucking great bands. Cult Leader is actually on tour with Dillinger Escape Plan right now. If anyone's listening to this and they're coming to your town, I guarantee you should go see it. They put on the just like I was reading an article from Rolling Stone about the top 10 Dillinger Escape Plan shows, and like fucking find that article, read it, and then go see that fucking band, because they put on a fucking show that's like very rare these days for bands. Yeah, man, like, dude, fucking, like, the Black Queen's so good. Like, it's like not what we listen to here on, I mean, I guess we have done some chill stuff on here, but, dude, this album's so fucking great. It's like Stefan was saying, it's like, to me, it reminds me of, like, it's like if Depeche Mode, it's honestly like if Trent Reznor's Nine Inch Nails wasn't called Nine Inch Nails and he came and just called himself Trent Reznor or something else, and they came out in the fucking 80s. Like, that's what it reminds me of. Because it has like those dark elements, but then those like poppy hooks that are like reminiscent of like
It's the
80s
best.
like electronic.
Every few months, I'll go to Goth Night here in Denver. But it's like they play that type of shit, you know. I mean, it's like Black Queen and Metallo and the Fixer and fucking like kind of industrial, kind of poppy, super dark, sexy, dancey. Like, this is the music that fucking vampires listen to when they're out drinking.
Yeah, no, it is. It definitely is.
It's so fucking good.
Oh, it's so good. Like, I had to choose that over the new Dillinger, but I was also wanting to do like the new Dillinger album and listen to the Black Queen album, because I feel like they're just like, it's so good to like contrast the two, because they're
Sure.
both musically great. Like, Dillinger is very much like a mathcore fucking awesome, and the last track on the new Dillinger record is just like what you would not expect from the Dillinger Escape Plan to finish an album with. But it's their last album, so it makes a lot of sense. And then I'm like, oh god, but I want you guys to listen to the Black Queen. So, I don't know. It's a great. I want to say both albums. Let's just do it. At Maddie's Music. I don't know.
Double feature.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm down.
I'm gonna give you guys 2 weeks on this, because next
Well,
week,
well,
for those listening, I'll be in motherfucking LA
Woo!
with fucking Andrew Bush, Stefan Santa
We
Cruz.
should- all right,
We'll be doing
what
this
about-
shit live.
what about a live listen?
Oh shit, dude. Oh my god. Should we do the Black Queen?
drink and live listen to the Black Queen, because then we can fucking
Yeah, I feel like it's indie enough that
dance.
it's like not because like it's not a like official release yet on like CD or anything. Like I think you can only like
Yeah.
there's only like 4 record stores where they carry the actual like CD,
Really?
and Amoeba is one of them. So like I want to go pick it up, just to have a
Oh, we
copy of
should.
it. So
All right,
that'll
there's
be fun.
plenty
Yeah,
of
we should do Black Queen that, and then we'll do the Dillinger record right after.
SuperHouse LA 2016.
Oh my God,
Super. This is the first official SuperHouse con.
it is the first. It is.
That's a good way to put it.
Come one, come all.
But that's it. Immortal. What's the name of the record?
Sons of Northern
Darkness.
Great record. Listen to it. You should all know it. Andrew loves it, so that means you should all love it. I love it. Stefan loves it.
I also love it.
The
I
Black
love black
Queen is
metal.
what we'll be. The Black Queen is what we'll be listening to and discussing live.
Everything that has the word black in it is great.
Yes, basically. Yeah, that's Maddie's music. It was fucking good. Thanks, Andrew, for the recommendation. I want more of this shit. Hopefully, the people who listen to us will be like, hey, you guys should check out this record. And some of us will be like, yeah, we heard that. No, we haven't heard that. And then we'll listen
Dude,
to
bet,
it. Because
bet.
that's what I want.
Well,
This is
they've
where-
got a live album from Wacken, the German
Yeah.
Wacken.
festival. Wacken. So, I mean, I'd say listen to that as like your sequel, because then you get all their hits. You get to hear like in between the songs. He's kind of funny in between songs too. He's like, "Hey, you want to listen to more of this shit?" And then they just start playing.
Sweet.
It's just they're just like having fun, man. That's what it feels like.
Hell yeah, dude.
Is it Luke Cage time?
It is Luke Cage time.
Luke Cage time.
We're all finished watching it, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
So mine's pretty quick. I mean, I'll butt in whenever you guys are talking to, but
I'm gonna
just to
take
get
a
mine
potty
out of the
break.
way, like I felt like the first like 3 episodes or so were so slow. I was like, please don't make the black one the worst one. Please don't make the black one the worst one. For the love of God. And then like when it got to his origin story and he wears the suit, and then every episode past that I felt was so fucking good. And I was addicted. I couldn't watch it all like back to back. But because I'm not a very good binge watcher, but I thought it was fucking great. So somebody else take the reins here.
Maddie.
Stefan?
All right, I'm gonna go. Maddie's muted.
Yeah.
Luke Cage saved my life.
What do you mean by that?
There's a part, second or third to last episode, where there's like a bunch of people talking about how Luke Cage saved my life, and they try to have this like the what is her name, Black Mariah tries to skew the perspective on Luke Cage the way that modern media, the way we perceive modern media skewing shit. And when they finally start talking to people about Luke Cage, like, yeah, that's my boy. Like, I know him from around the way. Like, Luke Cage saved my life. Like, seriously. And I don't mean that in jest. I don't mean that as just I don't mean that in a frivolous way. It's just like they know the level, because that's how he's interacted with all the people around him, all the people that he's a fucking superhero with superpowers and shit. They touch on so much good ground in this show for like Black American actors, Black American cinema, television.
True.
They don't shy away from the bulletproof black. Like it's a big part of the show is it just in a weird way with the MCU, Marvel Studios, and everything good that they've been doing. They fucking like. There's so much going on in Luke Cage for for like ethnicities of any kind. They have like a very big Puerto Rican influence. It's a New York show. It fits along with the Hell's Kitchen shows, Daredevil and Jessica Jones and stuff. It like it's like it's all New York actors, and they really give Black actors and Black storytellers a voice with this show. certain parts where it feels exploitative or it feels like 1970s like that. But a lot of that is built in.
Yeah.
But see, like part almost cheesy, like the really hopeful moments, the really like this is what we strive for and this is why we got to stick together and this kind of shit. They don't even if sometimes the performance, my taste or anybody else, whatever, like it might come off as cheesy. It's really honest. It's really out in front. It's just fucking doing. This is Luke Cage. Like we're up in the projects, smashing dudes up against the wall. I love the fighting scenes in Devil and this show are so interesting because they're like, this isn't gonna be like some choreographed ninja shit. This is a dude who could bend doors around people, like he's just a strong motherfucker. And they have a lot of fun with that. I mean, I'm gonna go on, but just I gotta gather the rest of my thoughts. But that's what I have to say so far. Holy shit, Misty Knight. Oh,
Yeah,
Mama,
that
please.
was definitely a good part of the show. Matt?
So it's my turn. I agree with everything Stefan said. Yeah, it was just great. It's every blaxploitation film I've ever watched in a Marvel comic show. It was great. I loved every second of it. I love the music so much. I think it's like the second or third episode. There's that one guy who's like the rapper. Um,
Me- Method
Yeah,
Man?
his name is
no, it's not
Jidenya, or
yeah, yeah.
his
I
name
know.
is yeah.
But I looked him up. I was like, yo, I need to check out this guy's album, and he's only done like singles.
Yeah. Hail to the
And
chief. He's awesome.
that shit blew me away. Also playing Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings. Fuck yeah, I love fucking Sharon Jones. They play a lot of shit from her. The music's just so good in that show. Also, they play some Wu-Tang, Method. Who is it? Is it Redman or Method Man that shows up?
Oh my
Method Man.
god. Oh
Method
my
Man.
god. Oh my
Um,
That
god.
was
that was great.
that was
That was a
amazing,
great
man.
moment. Yeah, man.
I have
It's,
the Wu-Tang Clan insignia tattooed on my body
I know
right
you
now,
do.
right?
Um,
I know
I
you. But I'm just saying, like, sorry to interject, but fucking when Luke Cage, like his first outing, when he puts the headphones on, the Wu-Tang comes on, and he goes through and fucks all his dudes
oh,
up. Like
dude. Oh.
this show, when I was a kid, I was obsessed with New York City. New York Undercover on Fox. It was my bread and butter, that show. And watching Luke Cage, it like brought back a lot of those old memories, and like the way they incorporate hip hop in this show is so astounding, man. This show, I feel like this show and the Get Down are closer related than this show and Daredevil in a lot of ways.
Yeah, well, yeah, you could. That's an argument you could make. Yeah,
But it's that New York shit. It's the hip hop shit. You know what I mean? Like they
Well,
do even even the score of the movie is all break. Like, it's old Wu-Tang stuff. They like, oh my god, it was so good. Anyway, go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
yeah, I mean, it's just like, this is a different, I like Luke Cage because it's a different perspective, because basically you've had white people telling their story. You have, a white male,
Yeah.
blind, telling, obviously the Daredevil story. Then you have Jessica Jones, which is a great, feminist, superhero, finally, get it.
Yeah.
I fucking love Jessica Jones. I fucking love Daredevil both seasons. But it's this is great. Luke Cage very much, from my understanding of the black culture, I'm not black, I'm a white man, so, everything that
yeah.
I've taken in watching Spike Lee movies and, listening to, hip-hop to, rap music and, taking in that culture as best I can, I grew up in fucking, a small town in Kentucky,
We're
I
all
can't,
black.
I can't take in that much. I don't get that experience. But, what I have gathered, Luke Cage is, he's the quintessential black superhero, But it's just,
him
it's
and
so...
Black Panther. But yeah,
Well, I mean, Luke Cage has really stood out because Black Panther has only been in a film where he's only a small segment of it. Luke Cage has, 12, 13 episodes of Luke fucking Cage.
Right,
This is our
right.
first black superhero who is prominent.
Yeah.
Who gets his
Really,
own fucking
really.
show. Until Black Panther the movie comes out, we only have this little bit of Black Panther, and if people don't know like because we're talking to the masses here, like Black Panther is just a small dot on the radar. Luke Cage is the fucking shit right now. Um,
But
but
like
To
like,
the streets, man.
what you said earlier about like, we're right now in this podcast, we're two white guys and a Latino guy talking
yeah,
about a black
Orale.
a black series, but like as far as we can tell, not being that race anyway, it's like it just kind of feels like it's not gonna, of course, it's not gonna like, serve as something to. God, I'm missing the word here. It's
I
not gonna
think
make up. It's not gonna make up for everything that's happened in politics, but. God, if
it,
you're black and you're watching this series to see a bulletproof black guy,
Yeah.
like that
dude,
must
it
be
says
so much, so
But I love
much.
it doesn't turn its head away from that at all. It's like, yes, this is fucking what is needed right now. And like you
And
think
with like
about
the hoodie being so politicized, like I grew up skateboarding. We used to get like white dudes wore hoodies all the fucking time. Everybody wore hoodies,
yeah.
especially skateboarders.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
and now it's like seen as like this Trayvon thing. Like it's just like it was cool to kind of see it like brought back in this show as like, yeah, I'm Luke Cage and I wear a hoodie. I'm bulletproof.
Yeah.
What's up? Like that.
The
God,
this
like we can only imagine, like not being black. We just don't know.
it's
Dude, like I would really
it's
like to
got to I
watch
mean
this
it's got to
show
be
with like just a bunch of black people, just to see how psyched they get. Because
Right,
like
right, right.
I'm like super like I was like psyched watching it, like hearing the music and just like the tone of it, and just like dude, like I don't know, like it reminded me like I remember when we first chatted about this like a couple Sundays ago, and I was like kind of hesitant, like or maybe I chatted about it on like through Messenger that I really thought it reminded me of a lot of like early Spike Lee films.
yeah,
Like
Right,
that's
right,
what I
right, right,
liked
right.
about it
totally,
because like
Right.
Spike
totally.
Lee plays up the black exploitation in his films because like
Yeah.
every time I talk to someone, everyone's like, oh, the acting's not that good in Spike Lee movies. I'm like, well, I think that's kind of necessary because it's playing on all these
Yes,
black
yes.
exploitation films. And people are like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I can't get into this unless you know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. But like I think Spike Lee deals with a lot of seriousness, but like like I don't know, if you watch Spike Lee films, you kind of know what I'm talking about. Like Do the Right Thing, Crooklyn, like two of my favorite like films of
Yeah.
all time.
Well,
Like
that
they're in my like top 20,000 films that I've watched in my entire life or whatever. But like that's like when I was watching Luke Cage, I really got that feel that they were like really getting that like Spike Lee New York, which for me like because I saw those pretty early on, like in my SCAD days, which was like you guys know was like kind of my introduction to film. Like I just kind of got exposed to all this like either foreign film or like a lot of black film and stuff. And
well that's what I was trying to get at with like there's the performance in Luke Cage, and it is very reminiscent of Spike Lee. I'm not the biggest fan of Spike Lee, but he has some great movies. And then when they have these moments, that's what I was trying to get at when I was saying like sometimes they come off as cheesy, but they're just really heavy-handed and dramatic.
yeah,
It really works, and I think that's one of the thing that gives this series just like a lot of power and a lot of like standalone uniqueness.
Yeah, it
well I
kind of
think
felt like,
that
especially in those first three episodes, they were kind of leaning into like sort of kind of cheesy lines,
Yeah,
a bit
yeah.
cheesier than the other Marvel Netflix stuff.
And it
Like,
really worked. It really worked for this, and I
well and
yeah, but
I
I
think
think they tapered off though because it got more dramatic and it got, it started to
yeah,
become more all connected and shit. So there was less opportunity for that, but it's still, it was all kind of organic and it worked.
well I think the thing
yeah,
is like black exploitation kind of goes hand in hand with like early comic book writings. Like it's just as cheesy. Like
Right.
Luke Cage in his like infancy, like when Luke Cage came out, like the yellow costume and stuff, like that's all kind of similar. But like they definitely turn it around with like the modern like what's happening in today's society. Like you're saying about the hoodie and stuff. It's just like I wear my hood up all the time, and I don't even think about it because it's just like a comforting thing to me. Like when I make a lot of artwork, a lot of the time if it's cold in my apartment, my hood's up, and I draw a lot, and I feel comforted, and I can do that, and it's like a comfort thing for me. So it was kind of weird to see that, you know, like because I feel like a lot of people wear their hoods up not to be like, oh, we're hoodlums or we're gonna rob you. It's just like this is comforting. I feel safe in this, you know.
Yeah, it's become so politicized. I mean, wasn't like Sylvester Stallone wearing a hoodie in Rocky? You know, like people been wearing hoodies for a long time now.
Dude, like it's not like hoodies just came out like once Trayvon Martin. Like
Yeah,
Trayvon Martin was the first person to wear fucking hoodies. He
right,
just
right,
like
right,
unfortunately got shot in one
right.
because apparently that's what when people like look at other people. And like the thing is too, like I wear a lot of fucking black when I go to work, so it's like black jeans, black fucking slip-ons, and a black hoodie. And I'm sure I look like the worst person who's ever walked into a fucking mall because like no one wears what the fuck I
Doubtful.
wear. You know, like
Doubtful.
so, you know, well, I mean, obviously, I mean, there are a lot of black people coming to our mall, and people, even at my store, are like, oh, those people were probably gonna steal, and I'm like, what the fuck? Calm the fuck down.
It was interesting to see how, and again, look, guys, listeners, spoilers. We've seen the whole thing. Turn this off if you want to watch and you don't want spoilers. All right, but like you get to see like him go through two major villains, and but then you find out like really the real villain is the politician.
Yeah,
You know,
so good.
this is the one that got away. Like this is the real threat to Harlem. You know,
Yeah,
that I think. And again, I don't know. I'm not from fucking Harlem. I'm not black, but I could kind of see from my limited knowledge, from an outsider's perspective of seeing black culture and all that. I could see how
You're as black
you might want
as
to
anybody.
you might want to
Preach on,
write
brother.
something like that. You might want to write something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a very important
Yeah.
thing in that world, I guess.
Yeah, I think if this show goes with like that stuff being noticed or talked about, then it's a damn shame. Because this show, it found its like the voice where we are at in a social political climate that we're at now, for a show for you know not saying specifically, but for a culture to find a voice through it being like not only rooted in comic books, but also rooted in American culture. Like this show has such a great, I mean, and I don't know. We Luke Cage, bulletproof black man in a hoodie. Oh, man, we need people to stop dying. We need to stop dying. And cops aren't bad. They're cops. You know, we're just in a crazy time, folks. Luke Cage gives you hope. Luke Cage saved my life.
I mean, shit was excellent. Basically, is all I gotta say.
Misty Knight is my whole world.
Yeah, that was like a surprise. I didn't know this actress before.
God, she
And
is.
yeah,
Woo!
great.
yeah, most definitely.
Her
Most
partner
definitely.
was great too. I loved that. What's that actor's name? Does anybody know? He's
No
such a
idea.
Oh, he's
guy.
an older actor.
Yeah, he played that role so good because you actually fucking
You like
Of-
him and hate him, which is
hate him.
great.
They did that character so well. And
When
that,
he
the
first
actor,
showed up,
forget
I was like,
oh,
when he first showed up, I was like, oh, this motherfucking actor, he's gonna be a bad guy
right,
because he's always
right.
like a shitty dude and everything.
he always is.
And
He's
then
Typecast.
a good.
they make you think he's a good dude, and then I was like, nah, wait. And then he's kind of shitty, and you're like, oh, I don't want him to die. Spoiler alert.
Really, what they that character is that fucking nobody's perfect, man. Like
Yeah.
in life, if you're living a hard life and you like that dude lost his kid by
Yeah.
by seemingly his own fault. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
he in his mind he killed his kid. To live for other than the fucking scraps of food that he's constantly pushing in his mouth or the fucking come up in there, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that dude has nothing else other than to just fucking ride it out. And that made his character so good. So like, yeah, when you're first introduced to it, whatever, or this guy or whatever. He's going to be the shittiest part of the show, linchpin, and then he turns out to be like one of the better parts of the fucking show. Even after he's dead, when Detective Misty Knight was attached to him, you know,
Yeah.
she's telling a whole different story about the guy that makes him look such a bad motherfucker. God damn this show.
Yeah.
It's going to be great too because we don't have to wait for Luke Cage season 2 for him to be broken out of jail, because we got the Defenders coming up soon, sometime next year or something. So like we're going to have literally Matt Murdock showing up at Seagate like, I have to meet my client. And they're going to have a fucking scene together. And it's going to be fucking wonderful. They're going to have a whole fucking season together. And then he's going to be with he's going to be with Rosario Dawson, and then there's going to be that awkward scene with Rosario Dawson and Jessica Jones. Like, oh, you're with her now. Okay, you know what I mean?
But then him and Jessica Jones have to have a baby.
That's true. That's true in the comics. Yeah.
But it's going to be so good to see when Luke Cage joins up with Iron Fist and stuff, just the community coming together. And this show really spoke to the idea of community of between these heroes and stuff like that. It's like, it's not about like our great, cool, fancy powers like the fucking Avengers. That's what they're wrestling with, because they're like, oh shit, we're not as great as we thought we were. But now you have these ground level heroes who are like, we're actually out here fucking doing some good and like fighting the good fight. You know, it's the whole fucking class system being called into question through fucking superheroes, man. This is our modern mythology, and it's the way it's writing itself is like fucking, you know, it's tickling the keys, man. This fucking Luke Cage shit is amazing.
Would you say the way you're talking about it, Stefan? Would you say like this is your favorite Netflix series from Marvel so far, or what?
No, Daredevil season 1 is my favorite.
Okay.
Just because I'm a person, I see beyond skin color. I see archetypes. I see where you fit in the story. I don't see fucking your skin color. I don't give a shit.
Well, but, yeah, I mean, we're not even like that's not even like
I know.
part of what I'm asking.
It's a big answer to a big question.
Right,
what was the question? My
is this your favorite one out of all the Marvel Netflix, which is only 3 so far? Well, 4 I guess.
It is my
second favorite. You're breaking up a little bit. Your second favorite after Daredevil season 1?
It's my second favorite after Daredevil season 1. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just, you know, Daredevil, wonderfully done. The first season, they just did such a great job. They blew all the haters away, all the Affleck Daredevil haters away, which was something that's near and dear to my heart. But
yeah, that was. I mean, fuck, man, that was so good. And Kingpin, I mean,
it was really good. But
I was not expecting that shit to be fucking anywhere near that good.
I think bottom line, Luke Cage, I think is something special. I think it really is just like.
Well, with the real life politics going on and shit, Black Lives Matter and all that, and then he's like, he doesn't like the N-word. There's that, and I don't know how much I can comment on that, but like I thought that was let's just say that was interesting.
Yeah.
And there's like these scenes where it's like, do you know where we're standing? You know,
all
those scenes too. It's like, look, just again, as an outsider, as somebody that's not black, I can just only imagine what that fucking feels like.
Here's the thing: Luke Cage grew up in Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah.
In Savannah, Georgia. You grew up in Atlanta, you know what I mean? Maddie grew up in Kentucky. Like, you guys know what's up. You know what they're speaking to. You know, and it's there, and it's so honest, and it's so pure, and it's so strong, man. Like, this is a time, man, for diversity of characters, diversity of ethnicities and entertainment and stuff. Like, this is what people follow. If you get people to, like, see the other side of the coin and, like, be like, you know what? I have a black cat. This is such a great idea, you know what I mean? Like, not that it's an idea, but that it's a thing that's happening. My favorite line in Luke Cage is Cottonmouth is talking to Luke Cage, and he goes, you gave a speech at a church and you knocked down a few doors in the projects. You think you're the black Captain America?
I'd say yes.
That line in of itself is a perfect and succinct summation of everything he's throwing at you, man. It's got some real shit there, you know, because even though Luke Cage doesn't he doesn't respond to being called the N word. Also uses it a few times. You know what I mean? It's like you got to be there on level
Right,
to
right, right.
understand. But not only that, you don't even got to be there because we're letting you know. We're telling you what it's like. You don't got to be there. But
Right.
this is what it's like, and part of every like the grander picture. The Avengers, Infinity War, all that stuff. Like it's just so special how they fit in, how the creators of this show, the actors, like these actors aren't showing up on set just because it's a Marvel. That's what the paycheck is saying, but they all really got to do something, and predominantly were African American. Next, we need some good Asian shows, and we need like a good
Yeah, speaking on that, I feel
Latin.
like there's like kind of a lack of Asian characters in the Marvel universe right
Yeah,
now. But
yeah,
hopefully the Iron Fist, of course the main guy is white, but hopefully
yeah,
Iron Fist has a very strong supporting Asian cast,
yeah,
and maybe somebody out of that will shine through and get their own series or show
yeah.
up in the movies or something. Like we're gonna get some bigger Asian
Well,
character because
here,
currently there's none. I mean, they had Psylocke
right, right,
in the X-Men, but that's Fox. That's a whole other thing.
yeah. I just want to say,
Played by a
um,
white lady.
who?
Psylocke.
Olivia Munn's half Asian or
Mixed. Yeah,
something.
she's mixed. It's like, yeah, they're like, it shows where we are in this, like, with our culture, the way that we're seeing things. And I think right now it's so important to have more of this. We need more Finns, we need more Rays, we need more fucking Iron. I mean, we need more Luke Cages. We need everybody. We need Punisher, we need Daredevil, we need Jessica Jones, we need fucking Iron Fist, Wolverine. Like, we need all these characters, but they're just voices that need to be spoken in order for things to like be good. There's like a prevailing perspective. There's a prevailing division going on right now with like our social political climate and stuff like that. Like, don't buy into that shit, because it's all about stuff like this. We go to the movies, we watch all our TV shows, we all watch Arrow, we all watch Flash, all this shit.
Oh
Like,
shit.
we communicate through these things. This is our modern mythology, and we're telling these stories to each other.
I mean,
Vision
again,
ship
we've
because
we've seen bullets bounce off of Superman since we were little kids, and that's just like that's basically spectacle. But I mean, it's always good to see bullets bounce off a
yeah,
superhero. But like, there's just that added thing with
yeah,
Luke
it's
Cage.
important. I'm
It's a
saying
very it's
it's
just.
very important,
I mean,
and it,
fuck,
it
dude.
and
There's
it's
just
such a
something to
great
say.
thing.
You gotta give it up. Like, it's fucking amazing.
I said my piece.
Yeah, it's whew, so good, man. And you know what? There's one last thing too. I guess I want to say about this. They could have just had Misty Knight, uh, just have a hair change, right, to give her kind of the fro from the comics. But they added that.
Oh, she had a fro in the comics.
Yeah,
I love her
they
hair,
added that
the curly
special. They
ringlets.
added that
Oh,
special meaning as like it's like that the Candace girl that died. Like she, I guess they're making it to where she changed her hair because of Candace. There's that last scene we see of her where she looks the
yeah,
most like she does in the
yeah,
comics.
right,
Like
right.
there's that like she's been a little bit reborn because of that. Rebirth is always a huge thing in any kind of mythology.
Right,
And
totally.
I think it could have just been a fucking fro, but they chose.
She's
They had
so
the great idea
gorgeous.
to add that extra oomph to it. You know what I mean?
What's her name? I forget the actress's name.
Simone something.
Detective. Oh no, here. Night. My phone number is 720-585-5985. I have plenty of free time. Let's go for a walk.
You really giving away your real number right now?
I was hoping one of you guys would stop me before I did.
Oh my god. If you get a
That's all
listener
right.
call you from this is hilarious.
That's that's the life I live.
If somebody calls you, you record it, all right?
I do my best.
And if you call him, expect to be recorded.
Okay.
So
That's
there you
fine.
go.
Let's see what happens.
Oh man, good stuff. Um, so yeah, just as like a kind of preview, next week we're going to be pretty much all in a room. Joey's not going to be there, and Johnson, of course, is going to be in Latvia. But a lot of us will be in the same room. We will all have the same sound quality for once and for all. And we're going to do an episode. We're going to watch a movie and do like a little commentary that nobody asked us to do. And
Hell yeah.
it'll be, however long the movie is. We're recording that next Saturday as of this podcast recording. And then it's either going to be Ninja Turtles 1 or 2 or a horror movie. We haven't really decided.
I think we should do
And
2 because I haven't seen Ninja Turtles 2 yet, and
what do you mean yet? You mean not recently, right?
I haven't seen it at all.
We talking about the new one?
What are you talking about?
Right.
Oh,
Out of
I
the
thought we were,
Shadows?
I thought we were doing well, that'd be kind of funny if we did the new one. I thought we were doing the older ones.
I just haven't seen it, and you never know,
I haven't seen either of the new ones. Anyway, we're going to be watching some movie. Our next episode is going to be a movie commentary of some type, and then we're also going to be filming what looks to be at Oktoberfest in downtown LA. If you're going to be there, say hey. And I think we're going to be doing some of our podcast topics, and we're going to be videoing this at Oktoberfest. So we're going to have new content on the YouTube page as well. I think that's it as far as announcements. You guys got anything?
SuperHouse Con 2016 in full effect. Los Angeles, California. Next year, Paris, France.
Exactly. And we're going to be at
somewhere else
the Ghost concert, Ghost in Death Heaven on Thursday. If anybody is there, please let us know.
Live
and
tweeting.
I'm excited about that.
Live streaming.
If you got a SuperHouse flyer from me at the Blind Guardian show last, a week and 2 weeks ago? I forget how long ago it was. Let me know, email me or something. superhousepodcast@gmail.com. So that's basically it. Anybody else got anything?
Nah, bye, fuckers.
Sayonara.
All right, that's good enough. All right, that's the end of the episode. Let's do a little two-parter thing. So, we did the intro to the first one. So, let's do the intro to the ending to the first one, and then an intro and outro to the second one. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Maddie, you want to do the outro to the Godzilla one?
Sure.
It was episode 34, part 1.
Okay, hold on. What was it? Episode what?
34.
Sorry,
part,
I've almost
part
drinking.
1.
I'm on my 5th beer of a 6-pack of Tall Boys. So
Okay.
episode 34, part 1.
Yeah.
Hello, listeners. This is episode 34, part 1. It's been a vivid, horrifying, and beautiful experience. Hope you've enjoyed it. Bye, fuckers.
All right, that was good.
That was
good.
awesome.
Stefan, do you want
I
to
just
take
picked up a book and read the back of it.
Do you want the intro to second one?
Intro to the second one, so that's 34 part 2.
Intro and say, I don't know, we're back again. Or ran
Give me a
long,
character.
Or, I don't know, Kylo
Make it up,
Ren.
Stefan. Make it like a...
Kylo Ren? All right.
I'm excited.
What is it? The intro to episode 2? 34?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit, it's breaking up.
Yeah, you're good.
Can you hear me? Okay, wait, what was it now? Tell me again. Sorry.
The intro to 34 part 2. Welcome to SuperHouse. Blah blah blah. Well, not the welcome to SuperHouse at the beginning, but just after the metal music kicks in, you'll intro it, and then I'll do my bumper, and then we'll start the thing. Yeah.
Okay. 34 part 2. Okay. Give me an action.
All right. And action.
We're not done yet. This is episode 34, part 2. I can train you. I can show you the ways of the Force.
All right, that was good.
That was
Why
good,
not?
dude.
Why not?
I'm impressed.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
my
that
Kylo
was,
Ren.
that was pretty good. All right. I'll do the outro for this one. I don't think I can do a character today, guys.
Wait, let me give you a character.
Okay.
Um, uh, Blade.
Blade? Oh my god, dude. I don't know if I can do Blade, man.
Or Dr. Robotnik.
He doesn't fucking talk. He's a
I can't think of
16-bit
anything.
non-voice guy.
What did we talk about? Godzilla, Japanese guy. Japanese, watch out, run from.
Uh,
I don't know.
Just do it in Japanese, Andrew.
Yeah.
okay. All right. スーパーハウスに聞いてくれてありがとうございました。これは34.2のエピソードがやっと終わりました。お疲れ様です。また今度どっかで会いましょう。
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, dude.
All
I
right.
love it. That was awesome. Post it right now.
Let's do a two welcome to super houses too. I've already done a Japanese one once actually.
All right. Give me a character.
Man, I was so surprised how good your Bruce Lee was. But you already did that.
Nice.
You really killed that one. Maddie, help me out here, man. Do it as the guy from Aliens. Game over, man.
Bill Paxton.
Yeah,
All right, Bill Paxton.
Yeah, from Aliens.
Okay, what do I have to say?
It's a welcome to Super House, so.
Okay. In action.
Oh, sorry. Okay. And action.
Oh man, they're coming through the walls, man. They're coming. We got subs, man. We got new listeners. SuperHouse podcast, episode 34. I don't know, man. I'm cracking up.
That's pretty fucking good, dude.
That was amazing.
Bill Paxton from Aliens.
You're good at that. Maddie, you gonna handle one?
You can try to give me something. I don't know if I can do it, but
I feel like you're good with chill characters. Who's chill? Can you do Droopy the dog?
I don't know who the fuck that is.
You don't know
I know who
Droopy?
it is. I know who it is, but I can't do it. Like
He talks. He's like this. It's time now to go like this.
well, Stefan should just.
He's
do
like
it
a
at this
sad
point.
Jewish guy. No.
And Roger Rabbit, he's the one that goes going down in the elevator.
Rabbit's hard, man. Roger Rabbit's the
Please.
Boy, Roger Rabbit's the Christopher Walken.
I forget how he sounds other than that though. That's the only fucking word I remember.
What's the Maddie? You go.
I don't know what do you want me to do?
I don't know. Who's good?
I'm not good at like fucking voices.
Just do Maddie. Maddie's a good voice.
What do I have to say?
It's a welcome to Super House, so
I don't know.
just say that. Can you do like a super country voice?
I guess.
Do your funniest, weirdest voice.
Do like a Kentucky redneck.
I don't want to do that, dude. Come on. I mean, I'm drunk, but like not that drunk.
Just do Maddie and say everything 2 times faster than you would.
What? Dude,
Hello, this is Maddie. This is the SuperHouse podcast.
No, just someone else do it. This
All
is
right, all
too
right.
much.
He's not in
This
the
is
mood.
too
He's
much.
not in the mood.
This
All
is
right,
too
I'm not
much
gonna
right now.
give me a
do
character.
Droopy. You got Droopy, bro. Do Droopy.
All right. What do I have to say?
Welcome to SuperHouse.
Okay. Give me an action.
Okay, okay. And action.
Oh, this is. Hold on. I don't think I actually have a good action. Could I just do like a stereotypical Jewish voice?
Yes, sure, go.
Hello, Superhouse listeners and viewers. If you watch our YouTube channel, please tune in. This is episode 34, part 1.
Wait, part two. Part 2.
Part 2.
Wait. We need a clean take. Do it again. And
I just cut. I don't remember what I
action.
said.
Doesn't matter.
Do that in
Just
part 2.
Well, hello and welcome, Superhouse listeners. This is Robbie, and I'm. Fuck, I don't know what I'm doing. Hold on. Give me another action.
and action.
Welcome, Superhouse listeners. This is episode 34, part 2. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to check in later. We got trivia and we got bingo galore. You won't want to miss it.
That's pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good.
I live to please.
Remember that Family Guy where the only way he could tell that time was going backwards was that Mort was putting money back on the ground instead of picking it up?
No.
That's the funniest Family Guy joke ever.
What episode was that? What season?
They go. It's a time travel one, with
Okay.
Brian and Stewie. I can't remember exactly, but time's going backwards, and they don't believe it at first, but then they see Mort put money back on the ground. That shit's hilarious, dudes. I gotta go though, man. I've been on this shit for like almost 4 hours.
You asked for it.
It was good,
Hey,
some good ass shit.
Hey, I just want to say Saturday, Kim
Yeah.
has her friends are having a party.
Oh,
her-
really?
Is
Yeah,
there gonna be goils there?
I don't know if I don't know. This probably shouldn't be live, but
Oh no, we've already cut. This is a. Actually, you know what? Boom. Let me do that.
she says, I don't know what y'all's plans for Friday are, but one of my friends is having her birthday party at a karaoke bar in Little Tokyo, just in case you have plans.
Yes.
And I said,
I'm
I don't know what Andrew has
there.
planned, but Steph and I are down for a party. Awesome. It
I
should
got
be
some.
pretty fun.
I got some fucking
wait,
karaoke.
shut
Wait.
the fuck
Is this
Shut the
before?
fuck up, Andrew and Stephen. It says, awesome. It should be pretty fun. These girls know how to have a good time.
It sounds great.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
that's
fucking
good,
down.
but where does that fit in the schedule? So we're gonna not do Oktoberfest or what?
Well, I mean, it's going to be later. Like, Oktoberfest isn't going to be running fucking till, like, midnight or whatever.
No, yeah, it ends at 8, I think.
So, like,
Yeah.
we can go to
Oh, we could do all
Oktoberfest
of it.
pretty early.
I'm just
And
trying to
then,
see what the video content is gonna be. Like
Andrew,
I'm just trying
listen, some
yeah.
of us need to get laid.
to. I get that.
It's not all about the video here, my friend.
Right. Well, you're talking about like what we're actually gonna be filming and whatever.
I mean,
Man,
I think you should film all of this party for sure.
Sure.
I'm
Just to see what happens.
I'm gonna bring my camera and cards, and then I'm gonna give them to you, Andrew.
I definitely need more cards, man. Is it a CF card?
Yeah, because I don't have any way to edit it, but I'll film shit, dude. I'll be out there. I'll
Is it
film a bunch of
CF
shit.
CF card?
Yeah,
Okay, great. Because I only have one actually.
and I'll just hand them off to you, basically.
What time does Oktoberfest start?
It's like fucking like 1 or something, like kind of early.
Well, then we'll just get there and do that for a couple hours, and then I'll like eat some food and fucking drink a lot and
Yeah, it'll be great,
it
man.
out.
We could do all that shit.
Okay, so it'll be kind of a full day though, so keep in mind. So around 11 a.m. or so, Kim's house, record the podcast, the movie commentary. Boom, that's done. Leave. Don't wreck Joey's house. And then we go to Oktoberfest. Then we film there. Then we do the karaoke thing. Just that plan's okay then.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's totally fine with me.
That sounds great because we're gonna party and Andrew like go. Maddie and I will probably go late.
Yeah, I
Oh,
probably
dude.
can. It's just
I
a,
mean,
it's
I'm
just I'm trying
fucking
to.
on vacation, so
Yeah,
I know it's your
exactly. Yeah,
vacation, so that's why I only wanted to plan filming and shit for one
yeah,
day,
for
just
sure.
one day. That's it.
no, dude. I honestly think if like we're all hanging out, we should be filming everything.
Right,
Damn, I
right,
wish
right.
I
Like
had a
for
Google
the
Glass.
like Thursday, we should be filming like as much as we can, unless they're like, oh, you can't take that camera into the fucking Ghost and Death Heaven show. Like,
Right.
dude, we should film as much as that and like whatever you guys get that looks cool, like edit it together and fucking do like a super house, like fucking this is our, even if it's a like one song by Ghost and one song by Death Heaven or whatever, like whatever.
Andrew,
Yeah,
I'll take a bunch of pictures too. That we like profile kind of things, background images, shit like that.
anything would help, man. I just
Yeah, yeah,
I think more video content's always welcome and
yeah.
Well,
all
I was
that
thinking about
shit.
like when I'm
We'll
on my
get
way
there.
to like when I get to the airport in Cincinnati, I was gonna try to do a Facebook Live thing,
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
like
do
through
a little.
Superhouse and be like, so I'm here 2 hours early to leave for LA. And then just look at the camera for a while and be like, that's it. I'm probably gonna go get some food now.
Right, right, right.
And
Yeah,
just like
I love.
little shit like that, or even on Instagram. I don't have the Superhouse Instagram right now, so I'll need to get that from you at some point.
Oh, it's the same as anything else. It's you look 2006 is the password and
Okay.
it's the Superhouse Gmail.
Because I was on there before, but then it kicked me off for some reason. But their
When it
little
updates
Snapchat
overnight
thing. Yeah.
automatically, it does that sometimes. It's done that to me.
Because like I was gonna do the little like Snapchat feature that they have on there,
Right.
so I might do that just through Superhouse and be like, okay, this is me at the airport, and then just kind of update as I go, and then be like, I landed in LA. So when I get to LA, Kim's picking me up at like 6:30.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I thought I was.
What time do you get off?
I get off right at 6, but
I'll
I could probably leave a little early, and for that reason, I'll be like, hey, I got to pick up a friend from the airport. It happens all the time.
I'm fine with whatever. I just need to let Kim know because I kind of want to like stop by Joey's house, their house, and drop shit off.
I mean,
You know,
if you're staying with them, I could see like why that is a good idea. But if you need me, let me know. I can do it.
I'll probably just wait for Kim just that way so I can like
Yeah.
drop my shit off, like say hi, the formalities and
When do you
whatnot.
get in, Maddie?
It's like 5:30 ish, but
Mm.
it might be earlier because my flight got moved up.
Oh shit.
So I might be at the airport for a while. And if it's like, if I get there like super early or something, if the flight takes off early, what time do you get in, Stefan?
I get in at like 4 p.m.
Yeah, I might just be like, I might just text you, Stefan, and be like, where the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Because I'll be
So
like,
so
I'm not
Maddie.
staying here for like 2 hours.
So I talked to my sister. She's letting me stay, and she's here, so she's not gonna be there.
Okay.
I'll be there.
Okay, sweet.
So I'll be like pretty much poised to do anything, go anywhere at any point, in any time.
Well, I mean, I'm also
And yeah,
down for anything because I assume, Andrew, you probably have to work
yeah,
throughout the week till the weekend.
yeah. As soon
Um,
Yeah.
depending like whatever your situation is with anybody else,
Listen,
you can hit me up if you want to drop your shit or whatever.
let me tell you what's going on. I'm staying at Joey's house, but I'm free for any and all things, sexual or non-sexual.
Maddie, fuck this cactus.
No,
But for Superhouse.
And then he's
but
like,
I'm
well,
kidding.
anything for Superhouse.
This is gonna be so awesome, man. This is like the most prepared I've been for a trip in a while.
Dude, I'm already like
Burning.
packed. Like my bag is packed, like beside my bed. Like I'm ready to go. Like
Yeah.
as soon as like
It's
two
gonna be
days,
awesome.
man.
I'm gonna I can stay at my sister's place, but I feel like I'm just gonna be everywhere.
Like the only
You
thing
know what
I
I mean?
really
Like
want to do is like
Chris Lee's gonna be in town.
I know. I want to see Chris Lee. I sent a message to Ballard and he goes, "Let's get a drink." and I said hopefully many, and no reply back. So that makes
Yeah.
me sad
I gotta hit
because
up Dowdy.
I want to
Hitting
I
them
want to
up.
have many drinks, and I really don't have like I mean besides what Andrew has planned for Oktoberfest and like the Ghost and like Death Heaven show, like I mean I'm pretty much game. That's why I was kind of happy that like Kim had a friend having a party and like
It's gonna be great.
because I like want to go to like a weird like random party where I don't know people. You
Oh,
know?
LA, baby.
So that'll be fun.
I'm
There's a
so
bar called Good
happy.
Times too. I recommend that we all go to.
Cool. What was that bar that we went to?
Andrew, did you just say a bar we should go to?
All
I don't
bars
know
we
if I don't know if we should. Just kidding. We should go there.
No, Maddie, this is
If the-
like the fucking SuperHouse place, in my opinion. Like, it's a 70s themed bar in Hollywood, and it's the decoration or whatever is so fucking good in there, but like, it feels like a house party because it feels like you're at a 70s house, but then there's like a backyard area which feels like a 70s backyard. You'll know what I'm talking about once you get in there. I usually don't give a shit about bars, but this one's so awesome.
Yeah. Are there any good breweries in LA that you recommend? Like we could go to and just shoot a little
Yeah,
something?
they're around, man. There's one called Angel City Brewery.
I don't know. I think it might be fun to just go sit down
everywhere.
there. It might be fun just to choose one and go sit down and try different drinks and maybe shoot a little something.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. I'm just like shooting ideas out. Like I literally don't give a shit because I'm so excited just to get out there and fucking like tear it the fuck up and be drunk all the time.
Would you guys want to do like a man on the street type of thing? Like, hey, what do you guys think about Rogue One or some bullshit like that?
Yeah. I'm gonna be
mean-
drunk the whole time.
To me, like, I don't care
feel like-
what is, as long as the video content's good, it could be fucking anything.
I feel like most of the time, Andrew, you're gonna be like, Steph and Maddie, what are you doing? And me and Steph are gonna be like, well, we're fucked up. So come find
Yeah,
us.
yeah. I know, I'm
It's
gonna have
gonna
to
be
fucking-
great,
Where are you guys? We don't know.
baby.
And then we just hang up, and you're like, God damn it.
We are in Koreatown. I'm gonna get a massage there.
A fancy massage, like a sexual one.
I think I need a fancy massage.
Yeah. I think
That
I
could
might.
be that could be a fucking segment. Stephanie gets a fancy massage.
Yeah.
Dude, I might get one too. Shit. It's been a while.
It's only like $40 usually. It's pretty good.
Damn.
I always thought massages were like so expensive growing
Yeah.
up or whatever, but like $40 is not bad.
Dude, that would be a good fucking segment. We go to a brewery, try some beers, and then it's like, Manny and Stephen get a fancy massage.
Yes, dude.
Yeah,
We're
that'd
doing
be
it.
such a good-
I'm gonna book it right as soon as I step foot. We're getting a massage.
Okay.
that could be part of like your LA travel video. Like, we're here to
Yeah.
get a fancy massage.
Stephen,
first
we
of
need
all.
we needed to do that like on a day when everyone's working. It's like me and you, like we're just like, what should we do today? And Stephen's like, fancy massage. I was like, fancy massage.
Yes.
It's like
This
we
sounds-
go and get it.
this sounds like a
It's
good
like, that's
segment.
it.
It'll be good. All right, I'm super
Legit
down,
shit.
man.
That should be
This-
the legit shit episode.
Yeah, it should.
First
You guys should
episode.
do
All
it.
right.
Should we
For that,
try to
too.
record an episode while we're getting a fancy massage?
Dude, that'd be
Yeah.
That would be
hilarious.
fucking great.
Yeah, I think they would love it.
Dudes,
I
I'm gonna
think they
go,
would,
man.
too.
I gotta head out.
Right
right.
on. Right on.
Later, dude.
All right, check you later.